Well, well. Hello, everybody. Hey, welcome to the Final Fantasy X 20-year anniversary stream. I feel old. I feel very old right now because I remember the exact place I was when I got this game. I remember the moment in time. To kind of give a little bit of thing, let's move over to this screen. The game released today, July 19th, 2001. Now, this is the initial release. This is the Japanese release because we didn't get it out here in the West till December 22nd, I believe, 2001. That's when we got out here in the West. And I didn't really get it until probably February or so, because I had just gotten the PS2 like that Christmas. So yeah, it's been a long time. It's been a very long time. I've been playing this game for going on decades now, and it's a fantastic game. I really love it. I recently did a playthrough on YouTube of it, a no spear grid run. You know what? The game still holds up remarkably well. I still think it's a fantastic game. It's up there for me as like one of my top Final Fantasies. And yeah, it's fantastic. So, what are we going to be doing on this stream today? Well, we're going to be doing a look back, a deep look back at Final Fantasy X. Originally, this kind of thing was going to be a video. I was going to do it because in my playthrough, I mentioned a few times, you know what, after I finish, I'll do like a bonus video, kind of watching a few videos, kind of going in depth on some things I didn't have time to really do during the run. And it was just going to be that. But it wasn't until like last month when I was like, oh wait, the game's going to hit the 20-year mark like next month. Why don't I just make it a bigger ordeal? So it's going to be much bigger than I had in the story. Originally it was going to be like 40 minutes of watching stuff, but I have a playlist I put together with hours and hours of footage. I looked up the time last night of the playlist. It is easily 4 hours. Now I'm probably not going to watch everything in here. Some things I'm probably going to just watch a few like minutes of and then I'll skip to the rest, but there's a lot of things here. And I went through the catacombs for some of this footage. There's some stuff in here. I went back to like, all right, what's the first Final Fantasy X video I remember seeing on YouTube? And videos that are really hard to find. You have to go deep into YouTube search to find them. They're hidden these days. But I got a lot. I got some stuff that I just want to watch again. Some stuff I've never seen. And a whole laundry list of stuff too. So you know what? Let's not waste time. We got 4 hours of this. Probably less. I don't know. Let's switch over to this feed real quick. Get my stuff all in order. Let me switch over to this feed, the main feed we're going to be at for most of this. Boom. Hey, there we go. We got the little setup going. All right. Let's go. Let's start it up. This is the Final Fantasy X original PS2 trailer. So this is the first trailer that kind of debuted the game in a more complete fashion. I believe this is like on some DVD. I think I remember seeing this on like the Spirits Within, like VHS, but oh no, let's go.
There have been other worlds before. Mythical, exotic, timeless. Final Fantasy, the games. Interactive worlds that have captivated millions.
8. I love to see 8 in here. 8's a great game.
Your imagination.
9's also great too.
And now, the phenomenon continues with Final Fantasy X. A young adventurer named Tidus, beginning an epic journey.
Tidus is exposing me.
And Yuna, training in the ancient art of summoning. Join them as they struggle to save their world from a vast evil known only as
Sin.
young heroes, their courage, their passion. Enter the battle. Experience the danger. Their world is your world. Become the adventure. Final Fantasy X.
Okay, that's a good trailer. Hey, I'm not gonna lie, it's pretty good.
Coming spring 2002.
Oh, rest in peace, Play Online. I think Play Online's still around, but then that form is gone. Ooh, I had to skip it forward. So this is the. Actually, do I need to watch this one? I'll skip this one. This is pretty much the official trailer. The next one on the docket is the Final Fantasy X commercial. Now, I vividly remember watching this one. This one played a lot on Cartoon Network. It'd play on like Nickelodeon sometimes. It played like a few different places, but I remember this one.
Final Fantasy X is gorgeous and grand. Absolutely mind-blowing.
Not wrong.
Enthralling gameplay.
Yep.
Simply incredible. This is what PlayStation 2 is all about. Don't believe a word till you play it.
I've done it.
Final Fantasy X, rated T for teen. Only on
Hey,
PlayStation
that's still a good commercial. That commercial is still pretty raw. I'm not gonna lie. That's a pretty good commercial. It's like, shit, I want to go play the game again. I just beat it 3 weeks ago. It's like, all right, and you go play the game again. Start it up. All right. Next one up. I'm just gonna have it just pause each one. Ooh, actually, I've been seeing this one. Final Fantasy X Coca-Cola. I guess it's some Coke ad that played in Japan for this game. All right. Whoa. Whoa, wait a second. Hold the phone. Wait, what are those little figures there? All right. You got the whole squad. You got like the real versions, like the little chibi versions. Do these exist somewhere? I legit kind of want these. Man, I wonder if they are actually. Hold on. I gotta look that up. Final Fantasy X Coke. Fantasy X Coke figures. Woo! Okay. I found a listing for it. It's very expensive. It is very expensive. Hold on. You can see. $249 for a complete set. Damn. Damn, that is expensive. But, oh. Those look sick, though. Oh, if I had the money to waste. If I had the money to waste right now. Brand new. Even when they were released in Japan, it was a very limited run. We do not accept checks. Dang. Alright, well, I'm happy to know these are still around. And actually, it looks like... I can buy the set with just the main few. You know what? I'm going to look into that after this. I might have to dip and buy one of those. Because, honestly, these look pretty good. Like, I think Walker has a Coke in his hand. Like, I want that on my collection. I want to put it next to my amiibos. And, of course, it'd be remiss if I didn't play this. This is the thing that pushed me to get the game, like, the second... Oh. Boy, this... Oh, my... I haven't seen this in so long.
Anyone who's played a Final Fantasy game will be expecting big things. Well, it's all that and a bag of chips. Here we go! Won't spoil the story for you. Let's just say it's very long.
Graphic-wise, it's everything you come to expect. You get 7 playable characters, and the battle system's been totally revamped. Maybe the best one yet.
Yeah, it still is. It's still the
Don't
best
worry,
battle
all your
system of the
favorite
series.
monsters are back and look better than ever. Don't sleep on the secret summoning aeons.
Okay, you can sleep on Yojimbo. Yojimbo's kind of whack.
And make sure you check the mini
Ugh.
games, especially the Blitzball.
Ugh. Check out Blitzball. Check out the mini games.
Remember
The
experience
worst
points?
thing.
They're out the window. The new system involves spheres, ability points, and you figure it out. This time the quest is shorter. Even with the extras, it will max out at 70 hours.
Max out at
Online,
70
it's
hours.
The best looking Final Fantasy yet. Check it out before next year when the whole thing goes online.
What's the score?
Tsunami gives Final Fantasy X an
Pretty
8 out
good.
of
That's a
10.
good score.
Utter wizardry.
Damn, that was a really that's a really good review. I still remember being really pumped. Like, I remember the day I saw this. It was like 4 or 5 p.m. It was back when Toonami had their day slot, and it was just thrown in there randomly. I stopped everything I was doing, and I think later that weekend I went and rented a different Blockbuster, and the rest was history there. Man, those Toonami reviews, like the editing on it, the music choices, like pinpoint perfect. There's so many games I got back in the day just off the Toonami reviews. Like they were incredibly well done. But it's pretty funny. It was like you'll max out at 70 hours. Like even when I played it back on PS2 and I finally did complete everything, I think it took me like 120 to fully max out everybody's spear grid and everything else, and going for pretty much almost everything. But it's like you look at the international version now, like you won't even max out at 70. You'll max out at like 200 just to have enough grinding to take on all the Dark Aeons and take on Penance. Like it's quite funny. All right, let's move on. What's next up? Snake Eyes. No, that's not what it is. It's stupid ads. YouTube killed my ad blocker. Now it doesn't work anymore. So it kind of sucks. Ooh. Oh. This is a commercial for Final Fantasy X X2 HD. It's a Japanese commercial. Guess it was uploaded by IGN, but I actually haven't seen this one, so this will be my first time. Damn, it's like me playing the game.
行ってくるね。今までありがとう。
What is this ad?
世界は別れに満ちている。
Huh?
だから今そばにいる誰かを大切にしたくなる。ファイナルファンタジー10、10-2 HD リマスター。
What a strangely emotional ad. It's actually pretty good, but I'm just like, wow, why is it so sad? It's getting me over here. It's like, what? I guess I kind of get what they're trying to do. And that, but it's definitely an interesting commercial. So sad. It's like, damn. It's like, bring some of these ads over here. I prefer that over some of these weird ones we get.
PlayStation Vita。
Give me some sad ads. Alright, and now for the treasure trove. All the Japanese commercials for X leading all the way up to the HD remaster.
運命に立ち向かったファイナルファンタジー10忘れないよ。
プレイステーション。
世界一ピュアなキスファイナルファンタジー10
He probably said something important there.
今まで何回くらいキスしたかな私たち
100回はしてんじゃねえの
もう無理かなこういうの世界一ピュアなキスファイナル
I
ファ
guess
ン
the
タジ
same
ー
ad,
10
better quality. Same. Oh.
世界一ピュアなキスファイナルファンタジー10
Okay, that was good. that last one was pretty good.
一つだけお願いがあります。いなくなってしまった人たちのこと時々でいいから思い出
It
して
is
くだ
interesting
さ
to
い
see the way they're marketing it in Japan. Ooh, the international version. Oh, there's that Coke one. Like in Japan, they're marketing it more on the emotional side and more on the romance angle, while America's more just like balls to the wall, action, explosions, all the huge set pieces. And it's still like that to this day. 7-Eleven ads?
7-Eleven でファイナルファンタジー10を予約すると先着でプレゼント
Get a Titus Slurpee?
セブンイレブン限定フィギュア
セブンイレブンだけセブンイレブンいい気分
7-Eleven got Veil 4 figures.
というわけで予約してくれはった方にはこれつけますさ
そばにいてくれれば
コンビニで予
Man,
約
he
して
got
いただけれ
gypped
ば
out here. You
7
see
もら
all
えま
this
す
cool stuff they're getting out there for the ad? Their promotion?
耳でプレイするもう一つのファイナルファンタジー10オリジナルサウンドトラック8月1日発売
強く
ファイナルファンタジー10バトルアルティマニア
最後まで教えて
ファイナルファンタジー10シナリオアルティマニア
もっともっと遊び尽くして
好評発売中
Oh, the Ultimania.
ファイナルファンタジー10多くのプレイヤーが待ちわびたはずだ FF シリーズがついにプレイステーション2に
For the PlayStation 2?
この作品によってゲームは新たな時代を迎える
最後かもしれないだろうだから全部話して
Listen to my story. This may be our last
これから
chance.
FF10 の舞台スピラと呼ばれる世界をご案内していこう今作のヒロインユーナ召喚師の少女である召喚師とは世界を救う使命を持った特殊な存在だ
It's only auto-generated.
偉大な召喚師ブラスカの
Actually, wait, they have the auto-translate. It's not gonna work, but you know what?
立ち向かってゆく
A Central Connoisseur Flowers.
迷わないよ
始まりは死んだだからもう一度死んに会えばでもなんで死は復活するんだ
Why is Sin resurrected?
真は人間に与えられた罰だから罪が許されるまで真は消えないの
That's like Kingdom Hearts line right there.
でもさあんなでっかいのどうやって倒すんだ
I very rarely see the Japanese dub of this game. This is like the first time really seeing like it fully in depth.
真を倒し得る唯一の力究極召喚その力を身につけるのが私たち召喚師の旅の目的
One of these days, I kind of want to play, if I can find a copy, I want to play the Japanese version of the game. Oh, of course they gotta play Wandering Form. They gotta play my track.
私召喚師のユーナと申しますリサイド寺院から参りました召喚師様他に召喚師がいなければ私に異界送りをさせてください
Oh, this great scene. But, yeah, we're gonna watch this. They're gonna watch that later on. I think I'm gonna skip this one because it's just like a promo of sorts. I want to skip to like the actual commercials.
ァンが待ちわびていた
Alright.
超大作
All game
RPG
is also a
ファイナル
masterpiece.
ファンタジー10 7月発売予定
July 19th.
今年の夏に発売されるファイナルファンタジー10の予約受付がもう少ししたら始まります。
真実を見せてやる。
分かってんのかよ。全部あんたのせいなんだ。
今回の FF はボイス、フェイシャルモーション、アクティブフィールド、とにかく全てがすごいから予約
719.
と同時に予約してね。素敵な予約特典もついてます。
Man, is that thing somewhere? I want to get that little flag. I'll hang it like right above my head. It's a good thing to watch this because like I really didn't know about those Coke figures. These are the ads I was thinking of, just the action and all that.
素敵な予約特典もついてるからな。ファイナルファンタジー10予約受付中。その予約の仕方は簡単です。このカードをレジに持って行ってくだ
This
さい。
card at the cash register. All right.
今回の FF はボイス、フェイシャルモーション、アクティブフィールド、とにかく全てがすごいから発売日と同時にプレイしたい人は予約してね。今予約するとこの素敵なファイナルファンタジー10
I want that. I want that so bad. Hey, this is X2. This doesn't count. We're not at that game's 20th anniversary, but you know what? I ain't even gonna do anything for that game. I don't even hate X2. X2's not a bad game, but it definitely, if I was to put the two together, one is definitely not getting played as much.
すいません、他の色見てみていいですか？もちろんです。おしゃれになった FF をおしゃれになった PS2 でお似合いです。
Yeah, like that blue PS2 actually looked pretty cool. Alright, it looks like the rest is gonna be just X2. Oh, and there's that sad commercial again. I'm not trying to watch that again. That depressing commercial. Ooh, Vita. I saw Vita, I had to pause everything I was doing. 12/26/2013. Alright, and here's something that I haven't seen a good bit too. This is the Final Fantasy X original trailer. This is the beta of the game. It was shown off, I don't know if it was an E3 or if it was a Space World or whatever, but this was in 2000, so this is a year into development. And it's definitely got a lot of things different in it. It was a whole different game at this point in time. So I'm going to play it through, and then I'll probably watch it again and kind of talk over it. There's a lot to say on it. Final Fantasy IX did come out in 2000. Was great. I'm still hoping one day that there is HD footage of this, or it's just some screen footage. Like, someone has to have this somewhere. Like, we can only hope. Like, things are changing because pretty soon we're gonna have like clean footage of that Earthbound trailer. Play online. I know it wouldn't connect that smoothly. I used PS2 online a few times. It was definitely not that fast. Oh, let me turn it up on here. It gets pretty quiet. Temple, but a very early version of it. Stop going to play online. It would have been interesting to see had this actually made it into the game. Had they actually got the play online implementation in there. They probably figured that no one was going to have... I'm about to get some water. They probably figured no one was going to have their PS2 hooked up to, like, I think their router and all this, just to, like, get some tips on the game. But, I don't know. Final Fantasy X 2001. It's crazy that a year later, so much of this changed. Like, this logo is entirely different. This whole thing is different. Like, going back to it. And to this early version of Calmlands, which something I brought up in my playthrough is that I always felt that when I watched this footage, the Calmlands, even playing the game, like, years later, I always felt that the Calmlands was the first area they developed for the game. It just seemed like something you would test when changing up from PS1 to PS2. Just a huge open area to kind of explore and like how things work. Especially that there's such of like a dead zone in Calmlands. Like you have the little like shop area in there. You have the hunting area, but like in terms of like the big main section of it, it's really small, and just nothing there. And I always felt like this area was a testing ground. And this footage right here kind of gives me the credence there of just at this point in the game development, like a year into development, this is the first thing we see of it, and it's Calmlands. But only time could tell. Obviously, Titus with the black hair, that was definitely much different. The animation on this is very different. It's got a lot of stuff going on. Like, he's walking, the belts and buckles are moving, the hair is flapping in the wind, the clothes have physics to them. Obviously, this was not in the full game. And the lighting is definitely different, too. Like, there's a lot of stuff going on in this lighting. Something, for some reason, is lighting him up from the bottom. I don't know what that is, but it's something. Then you get to the big screen here that, like, is the big one for me. Like, what's this level system right here? Obviously, you can't see. I don't have my capture thing on, but like that level screen right there, like that changes everything. Because at this point in development, that does mean that the spear grid was nothing. It was just going to be a standard Final Fantasy leveling, which that would have changed things so much. I feel like the spear grid is what made this game so special. Just in the approach of how you can take on battles and how you level up your party. In so much. And I think having a standard leveling system would change things up, like, not for the worse. The battle system would still be great, but you wouldn't have that customization of being like, you know what, I want Yuna to be a heavy hitter, or you know what, I want Auron to learn black magic, or have Lulu be a white mage. Like, I liked that aspect of just being able to do what you want with Spear Grid compared to they're all going to level up exactly the same. You're kind of just stuck with, like, okay, this character's this character's that, they're only that. So it was interesting. And the play online stuff, too, is just really funny. It's like, you look up play online to see a map of the game, and you could just probably be faster to just look at the mini-map in the game. Would have been cool implementation, though. Obviously, Requiem Temple, where you fight Belgemine, whole area is different. You could go inside the temple. It was designed much differently. The camera's different. It's actually like, it seems like an actual centralized behind him camera rather than the more top-down perspective, the more like dynamic view. But no, that trailer's always been interesting to me. Just like how much that game changed in a year and what it could have possibly been too. Only time will tell if that HD footage of this or the cleaned up footage, like direct screen capture, exists. With how lucky things have been recent, things that have like come undiscovered, I feel like at some point it's going to drop. All right. With that one out the way. Okay, I'll skip that one. This next one is going to be a long one. This is going to be a 40-minute one, so strap in. This is the making of Final Fantasy X, interview with developers and voice actors. I've only seen this once back in the day, but I remember it being a pretty good one. So you know what? Let's walk into it. We're going to see some vintage footage, some old footage.
Grammarly helps make your writing clear and concise.
Ads getting in the way. This is not the making of footage here. This is an ad. Here we go. And my boy, James Arnold Taylor.
The character he's a young, aggressive, excited...
A young James Arnold Taylor.
Young man. He wants to be right in every situation. He wants to be the hero. When I prepared for that, I just drew from my own life, I think, especially because I can totally relate to the way he reacts to things. I tend to react and then go, oh yeah, this is probably what I should do in the situation. So it's kind of how he takes life and takes his life in this game. Well, Tidus and Yuna, I think when they first start off, they're at two completely separate ends of the world. And they find out, I think, throughout the story that they have a lot more in common than they think. And she tends to be very calm and cool. And Tidus is much more aggressive, much more excited. He's ready to go. And she's more of a thinker. But she teaches him so much. And it's really a love story, I think, between the two of them. That's what the essential
That's essentially the story right there.
His love for her.
It's not wrong.
Discovering that love and vice versa. I think that Tidus is driven by her being so calm and collected. It makes him more aggressive, and he seeks the truth even more, and he seeks to pull that excitement out of her. He wants to see her as excited about things and as energized as he is. And so I really tried to give some loving pushes to the character when they're in relationship with each other to say, come on, let's go. Hey, you know, it's exciting.
Here's the voice.
Like, okay, I'll get excited, but in my time.
It's pretty close to his normal voice, but it has like that
like
higher pitch and timbre
of dialogue, which is really amazing. There is a lot of dialogue, which is really different from any other game that I've ever experienced. And on an average, there might be, like, say, for a regular animation thing, there might be 300 lines, I guess, total, 9,000 lines, so many different paths to turn in the game, and so many different ways to go. There's so much there. Well, there's some great, memorable moments in this game. For me personally, there's a scene where Yuna.
I was about to say there's memorable moments, and it's this scene. That would have been perfect.
And he's so set on his mission, and he gets so caught
but it's
up
sad
because
he's talking about how this is like a great scene,
he's laughing,
and it's the scene everybody brings up at this game.
It was fun to watch because
they're like, yeah, this is the scene that makes his game stink. I'm just like, what? This?
Tidus, the character, doing this and me adding to it.
Pretty sad, honestly.
Very memorable. There's also some real emotional moments that are very memorable in it, where Tidus finds out some information about Yuna that is shocking to him, and he has to deal with it because he has no other choice but to deal with it. And if he wants to be a hero, he's got to take on these responsibilities and these emotions, and they're new emotions for him. But he handles them well, and it's a breathtaking scene as well. The animation in this, literally, when I first saw it, we had to spend some time where we had to stop for a while where I was going, this is amazing animation. I kept just saying over and over, I can't believe this animation. I would say to the people that are playing this game and have played all of the other Final Fantasy games that this is, in my opinion, the most exciting, the most visually stunning, and to take the time to go through and get every aspect of the game. Now, it could take hours and hours, but it's going to be a lot of fun, and it's a learning experience. It's a growth, and you know, not to sound corny, but you'll learn, and you can become possibly a better person because this character, Tidus, he learns and he becomes a better person through it. And if you can really get involved in the story and get wrapped up in it like most of us do, I get involved in stories, you should grow from it as well.
Raid Shadow Legends ruining this great
Basically,
interview.
she is a summoner.
Hetty Burgess, not a lot of footage, not interviews of her out there.
Is being aided by.
She doesn't really do too much voice work these
on
days.
A mission to defeat.
She does come back for Final Fantasy stuff. She was in World of Final
This journey
Fantasy.
that she's
She
on
came
is
back to
one
do
that
Yuna's voice.
her father did before
And came
him,
back
and I
for
get the
that
sense it's sort of a
awful
generational
Final Fantasy X
obligation
bonus
as well as
audio.
honor. And
Unfortunately, she
it
came
gives
back.
her this
Unfortunately,
sense of
everybody
duty
came back for that too.
And that motivates her through most of the story. A duty, respect, honor. These are the things that are important to her. These are the things that I try to translate in a way to the voice of Yuna as well, but at the same time retaining the gentleness and femininity that is so apparent in the way that she looks. So it was an interesting little dichotomy I had to come to, finding a way to balance those two aspects out. She's this gentle yet forceful presence. I wouldn't say docile, because I don't get the sense that she backseats anything. She's very direct, very forthcoming with her opinions and her ways, but she doesn't have to be aggressive about it.
Also, I do respect that they've been playing the true Macalania Forest theme over this, not playing that other one.
Her journey, and that's evident with the friends that she has.
It's like they know what the real version is. They know what's up.
More so than lieutenants and sergeants and things, they're her friends, and that's how it is. It's a very familial kind of energy that she exudes. Titus's character provides her with a whole new dimension that we haven't seen to Yuna before, which of course is the romantic dimension, and it fleshes her out, I think, then that extra part of her that we haven't seen that's a little more humanizing too, because up to this point we've only seen her duty bound, her goal, to free the land from sin. I mean, we see her with her friends being a little more human and a little more personable, but Titus really provides that womanly aspect to her, the romantic element that fleshes her out completely. And I think you have to go into it with an actor head, because these mics and this whole system is so sensitive that every nuance to your voice is going to be heard, and you can't make your voice.
You can say that
sound like
again.
you're thinking. You have to think, and then your voice will just do it.
These mics these days can sure pick up a lot of nuance in a voice. Little too much nuance.
Doing this, so I try to relate myself to the character that
I probably just peaked the mics. Probably sounds all terrible.
I relate myself as best I can to Yuna. I haven't saved the world lately, so that dimension of her escapes me a tiny bit. But what elements that are there that are very specific and human, and at the same time general and identifiable, I try to tap into those elements, think it through from that perspective, and then my voice reflects what I'm thinking, what I'm feeling, without even trying. So when you force it, it's obvious. When you just do it,
I'm curious where this footage came from. Like, was it on some DVD with some version of the game? Was it upload? I always wondered it feels like what the original origin point of this footage was.
Probably be that, an experience. I want them to get lost.
I'm surprised they also didn't put it in the X remaster.
Forget they're playing a game. I want them to participate like they're right there, having it happen. And I hope that through our voices, through this animation, through this storytelling, we're able to just transport them into a completely different world, right there in Spira.
Uh-oh, they got effects going. Yoshinori Kitase, the man, the myth, the legend. Man who's still putting in work at Square.
ある意味ファンタジーというか中世風中世ヨーロッパ風のっていう部分が僕らなんかよりもどっちかというとユーザーさんの方にそういう
Medieval European world? Yeah.
固定観念みたいなのがあってまあそういうのをちょっとこう変えていきたいなと。じゃあファンタジーユーザーの方が持ってるファンタジーって概念をもうちょっと広げていこうと変えていこうっていうニュアンスの時に
And it's funny how we've gone full circle. Because he's talking about how Final Fantasies needed to get away from that medieval era, an aspect of the fantasy part, and then with X they kind of changed it out of that, and then for a good bit they did change out of that. Now finally with Final Fantasy 16 we're going back to the medieval era. It's all coming back full circle. You know, I'm psyched for 16, so I'm down to go back to that style.
本当に想像上のキャラクターというか、ある意味嘘のっていうかそのキャラクターだったわけですけども、その生身の人間がそこで間に役者さんっていう僕らの才能とは全然別の才能が入ることで、すごくこう人間に近い 喋るセリフもそうだし、感情表現もそうだし、身振り手振りの演技もそうなんですけども、より人間に近いキャラクターをね、作り上げることができたなっていうのは、感じてるんで、ストーリーの根底にあるテーマは一応、旅というのがその主軸になってます。で、今回はまあ、旅っていうのもあるんですけども、いろんなテーマが隠されてて、多分プレイする人それぞれが感じるテーマみたいなのがあると思うんですけどね。で、僕個人的には旅というよりもその、まあ、親子、まあ、親父と息子みたいな、まあ、もしくは親父と娘みたいな関係が、まあ、ストーリーの中で語られるんですけども、まあ、僕は個人的にはその2児の父親なんで、まあ、そういう立場から共感できるところ、まあ、もしくは、汲み取れるテーマっていうのはそういうところであるし、まあ、もしかしたらユーザーの人にとってはそのユーダとティーダのその男女の関係みたいなものを中にテーマを感じ取ることができるかもしれないし、まあ、そういった意味ではいろんなテーマが人それぞれ多分ユーザーによって隠されてると思いますけど。
Sir, what are you zooming in on? Speaking of legends, Tetsuya Nomura, listen, legend. This man made Kingdom Hearts. Nothing short of a legend. His character designs have been undefeated for like 3 decades.
世界観が最初に設定された時にはそのアジアのテイストでっていうのがあったんですけど、全体的にもうそういうなんだろう、タイとか南の方のこう色がこうすごいいっぱい使われてるような南の島のイメージのアジアっていうのが結構前面に出てたんで、そのまあアジアの中にはやっぱり日本まあ和もあるわけで、まあそれもちょっとどこかに入れたいなと。
一番こだわった部分といえば、地域や人種によって服装の雰囲気を変えたところです。例えばアルベト族だと機械中心に生活をしているので、スピラの人たちとは浮いてる存在にしたかったので、わざとゴーグルやフルマスクをかけさせたり、異様な雰囲気を出している服装にしました。他だとロンド族は戦闘民族なので戦いやすい軽装にしたりしています。好きなキャラクターを一人挙げるとすると、ブリッツボールのビサイドオーラカの選手のキッパです。他の選手を見渡して
He's also the worst player on the team. If you've lost Blitzball, it's 99% of the time because of Keepa. God dang, I'm still mad about that.
顔中に骨が入ってるんですけども、まあそういうことをすることで自然な表現ができるようになったんじゃないかなと。いろんな表情ができますしね、目も動きますし、瞬きしますし、PS2 ってすごく複雑なハードで開発が難しいって言われてますけども、確かにその通りで
Development is complex.
自分のものにするにはすごく
PS2's complex. Hey, wait till you get to that 3, because you ain't seen nothing yet.
叩けば叩いただけの結果が出てくるような、そういう魅力があるマシンだなと思いました。で、まあユーナの振り袖ですとか、ティーダのフードですとか、ああいう物連山とか、あとスペキュラーっていうテカリとか、そういう、あと影をつけたりとか、そういう今までのマシンだと難しかったことが自然にできるようになったなと思います。
プロジェクトの最初の時に世界観まとめよう、コンセプトを決めようっていう時に、スタッフのみんなでいろいろこうアイディアを持ち寄った時とかに、なんとなくみんなアジア方面に興味あってた、そっちにこう寄った絵をみんな描き出してて、で、自分自身も結構アジアの方個人的にも興味あって、で、ちょっとそういう感じをファンタジーに取り入れてみたら面白いかなと思って、じゃあで話をして、シナリオの野島とか北瀬とかディレクションの北瀬とかと話した時に、その辺同じようなことを割と考えてて、じゃあこれいけるかもしれない。
Oh boy.
始まったスタートでした。
Ads. Ugh. Ruining the flow of that interview.
今までの FF で映像先行っていう風に、見られる向き、やっぱり売りにしてたところもあるんですけれど、そういう風に見られる向きがやっぱりかなり強かったんで、今回は新しいこととかも取り入れつつ、ゲームの絵としてすごく成立するようにすごく隅々まで気を配りながらみんなそうですねやってて違和感感じたりとかしない、もしくは不自然な感じしない、もしくは操作とかにすごく不具合とかストレスを感じないようにとか、そういうゲームとしての絵っていうところをできるだけ突っ込んでみたつもりなんで、逆にそういう部分に関してはユーザーの皆さんが何も感じないでっていうか変な言い方ですけれど、逆に感じないでいてくれる方が成功かな。
Any awkwardness or stress while playing the game? Well, you didn't test that Seymour Flux fight, because that fight gives me stress. Everay and getting past the Bevel part, that gives me stress. You didn't try hard enough.
ワールドマップという概念を捨てて全て同じ表現でいこうというそのコンセプトがあったんで、今回はワールドマップなしということになりました。はい、今まではほとんどプリレンダーっていう止め疑似的な3次元ではあるけども実際は1枚の絵ですよね、平面な。そこで物を動かすったって、要はアニメーションを一生懸命コマ送りで作ったのが、今回はモデルを用意してそれをモーション的に動かすことができるんで、表現の幅はかなり広がってると思うんですよ。何気なくできているようなマップなんですけれども、移動しないでそこで一度立ち止まって見てもらうと、結構何気ない道端の草が揺れていたり、雲が動いていたり、かなりいろんな仕掛けが入ったりするんで、じっくり鑑賞するぐらいのつもりで、確かにゲームをクリアするためにみんな急いで行きたくなるんですけれども、じっくり見てもらえればこちらとしては作りがいがあったなっていう気がします。はい、
そうですね、一新しようっていう考え方があったわけではないんですけど、自分が割と FF
I think this is the battle director. So this is the guy who brought in all the stuff from tactics into this. Yep, this is the guy. The best, the greatest decision they could have made in this game. The battle system in this game is so good. Like, it's the one thing that keeps me coming back. Even though I like X2's system, this is still the best one of the series.
リアルタイムでどんどん進んでいってしまうんではなくて、あと一発で、ボムが自爆しちゃうから、そうならないようにするには自分はどうしたらいいんだろうかってゆっくり考えてほしいと思ったんですね。あと少し考えることで、バトルがすごく気持ちよく終われるような形でチューニングをしてますんで、今まであまり考えずに戦ってた人も少し考えてバトルをするっていうのをしてもらうと、新しい面白さが見つかるんじゃないかなと思います。
毎度作るたんびに、FF は何かしら変えていこうっていうのはあったんで、自分の担当からだと召喚獣の扱いとかはかなり、
Another smart decision. This was another really good one.
今までにない感じの世界観をかなり完成度高くがっちり作られてて、それでやっぱシナリオ面とバトル面のシンクロを
Like letting us play as the Aeons was really good.
シナリオ側にすごい寄せた感じで作っていくっていう、最初の指針から今のじゃあ今までの割と見せ場だった召喚獣も世界観に合わせたようなものを出していこうっていうと、自然にもう新しい召喚獣がたくさん出てきちゃう、もう自然な流れでそういう風な感じになりました。今回ユーナしか召喚できないっていうところが一つのポイントで、じゃあ演出的にユーナと召喚獣との絡みの演出っていうのが最初から結構やりたかったところで、もう実際作ってみてすごいいい感じでできたと思うんで、やっぱその辺の なんてまあ長くても割とこう演出でこうテンポよくというか。
And they are good. You see them a million times. Thankfully, they knew because they had that short option in the game.
今まではやっぱりなんていうかグラフィックスタッフとかにこう、まあ、演出的な指示を出せばよかったんですけれども、今回まずボイスの録音と、まあ、役者さん俳優さんたちにまず演技を、やってもらって、それをベースにいろいろ作ってますから、まあ、本来のなんか演出っていう意味の仕事がようやくできたっていう感じですね。昔はブースに向かってこう作ってたんですけれども、まあ今回からやっぱりスタジオに入る機会が増えまして、まあそこでやっぱり生の人間の人と接することが多くなりましたよね。でそれをだからこうキャラクターに落とすところで、なんていうのかな、まあ負けたくなかったんで、まあ、いかにゲームの方のキャラクターにその生の雰囲気をね伝えるかというところに一番重きを置いてました。
容量が増えた分またその容量を使ってしまう、また PS2 によって表現力が上がりましたので、それを表現するデータの量が増えたためにやはりまた容量不足という問題が発生しました。企画の方からのやはり要求が非常に高くなったので、それに対応するのが一番苦労しました。イベントとバトルでのシームレスで
I'm sure there's like more documentaries of just like stuff from this era. That was the one cool thing I did like when you would get like PlayStation like demo discs. That sometimes they'd have like small little making of games, and you get to see the development and like how they're doing this and that. And it was always interesting to see, at least for that time, how much has changed, what things are like still the same in there, and so on.
それをなんかどんどん新しいというか違った形にしていきたいなというのがあって、セブンの時はこう無口なやつで、プレイヤーがその間を想像しやすいっていうのにしてて、まあ8の時は無口なんだけど、なんつうんだろう。
Squally on heart. We got him to disclose his feelings, only it took 90 hours before he finally does it.
そういう風にしてて、で今度はこう階層にすることによって、なんていうんだろうな、そのゲーム画面の中で動いている主人公とその階層している主人公と二段構えでいてですね、でプレイヤーはまたそれとは別なところにいるっていう、こう今までなんとか近づけようとしてたのと逆な試みでやってみたいなっていうのがありました。真が何かの象徴かどうかっていうのは、まあすごい大げさなことを言うと、生きていく上でのいろんな障害っていうんですか、なんかこうそれを前にしたら諦めちゃうような、そういうような存在ですね。まあ人によってそれは何かっていうのは違うんだけど、そういう意味があります。でまあ人に説明するときは台風みたいなもんだっていうと非常に伝わりやすいんでそう言ってますけど、まあ、もっと深いところにはそういうのもあるかなという。
These zoom-ins are really fun. Stop with the zoom-ins.
よくできてると私から言うことじゃないですけど、すごくいいとは思うんですね。ただそれに伴ってやっぱり音が要求されてることもたくさんあると思うんで、その演出が美しくすごくなったということで、大事のやっぱり細かい作業だったんですね。すごく音を地味なところですけれども目立たなくてもやっぱり丁寧に作ったんで、音がおそらく流れるように最後まで、流れると思います。音というのは効果音ですけれども、で、例えば海の町に行って海から山道に行ってった時におそらく自然と音が切り替わるように私たちは作ってきてるんですね。なんで変わったなって逆に思えないと思うんです。だけれども
I might not have realized that, but your brain
山を
did.
歩いてるとかなっ った時にそれは大地の一番苦労したところだし、そうあってほしい、いちいちこうプツプツ音が切れないようにするっていうのが今回の目標だったんで、そう思っていただけ終わった後になんかすごい自然だったなって思ってくれれば大地はそれでもう満足です。
プレイヤーの皆さんに聞いてもらいたいのがあるとすれば、よく言えば全部なんですけど、
The legend, one of the greats when it comes to video game composition. Nobuo Uematsu is a legend.
音楽のハーモニーみたいのを弾いてほしいですね。そこら辺が一番自信がありますかね。音楽は弾くところは弾いて、セリフが立つところは立って、効果音が主人公の時は効果音をメインにして、で音楽が主人公をさせてもらう時はセリフにも効果音にも弾いてもらって音楽がガーってメインに行く。
These ads, stop! You're ruining the flow of this video. These stink. All right. How you gonna put an ad right before Nubo's talking? Oop. Sorry about that.
主題歌に関しては、まず誰に歌ってもらうかっていう歌手選びから始まったんですけど、アジアンテイストだからっていうわけじゃないですけど、個人的に沖縄琉球の方の音楽が気になってたっていうのもあって、それでうちのスタッフなんかと CD 探したんですけどね、そこでそのスタッフの一人がリッキさんの CD 探してきまして、これだろうなと、この声はちょっとこれまで聞いたことない声だなと思ってすぐコンタクトを取ってもらいまして、それから実際に彼女の生まれ故郷の奄美大島行ってみたり、何度か会ってお話しさせてもらったりして、イメージはなんとなくこんな感じっていうのは掴んでたんですけど、曲はなかなかできずに、ただ時間だけが過ぎていったんですけどね、もうそろそろ間に合わないっていうんで場所変えて作曲しようと思って、自分の部屋からシンセサイザーを会社の応接室に持ち込んでですね、受付のお姉さんなんかがみんな帰った後に夜ちょっと一人で応接室で作ってたんですよ。でそしたらね、1時間ぐらいで10曲ぐらいだったんですよね。で
That's crazy.
その中の10曲のうちだったらどれ取ってもいいなと思ってたんですけど、こう一番
No, use all 10. They're probably good.
と思うのを今回のテーマにして、メロディーが先にできて、その後、シナリオ書いた野島君に歌詞を作ってもらって、出来上がった夜は2人で乾杯と。
Hironobu Sakaguchi.
すごく自信をなくした時期があって、作るもの自分で納得いかなくて、でゲーム業界はもうこれで引退しようと思って最後に一作と思って作ったのが FF なんですよね。それで名前もファイナルなんだけど、僕にとってはなんか時のそのファイナルファンタジーっていうタイトルに対する気持ちで時が止まってる感じはあって、いつも
I should have shaved, honestly. I could have had the Sakaguchi, just a mustache.
っていうところもあるんですけど、毎回これでもう最後だよっていうか、全部力を出し切って、今持てる自分たちの技術っていうのとかスキルっていうのを使い切ることが僕にとってはそのファイナルファンタジーであって、だからお話とかキャラクターっていうのも毎回変わるっていうのも、ストーリーっていうのはある意味世界観とかをね縛っちゃう可能性があるんで、逆にそこを変えることでそういう出し切り、型の
Very smart decision. Going to the aspect of changing each game with the character, story, world, that was a really smart move. Because had they did Final Fantasy 2 and it was just a continuation, we wouldn't have made it this far. We wouldn't have made it to 10. Oh no! Final Fantasy the movie. I know what movie they're talking about.
もうその頃からフィードバックはしてるんですけど、髪の毛のねシミュレーションだとか洋服だとか、あとはそのマヤ
Maya. Oh man, they only use Maya these days. I haven't heard that name in a long time. I know for a time that was like the big 3D modeling software. Maybe it still is used on. I feel like Blender is like the big one these days.
以前からゲームやってても思ってたんですけども、そのプリプロのね、要はシナリオとかコンセプトアートとかその世界設定までの重要性っていうのはやっぱりすごく再認識して、やっぱりそのコンセプト段階のものを複数こう持っていて、自分たちでそこからやっぱりこう一つチョイスして、実際のゲーム化なり映画化するっていうようなプロセスをもうちょっとね、だから余裕を持とうということなんですけど、やっぱりやらないともっともっといいものにするためにはね、そういうことが必要なのかなっていうのは感じましたけど、例えば6から7に行く時もみんなすごく不安の中でああいうスタイルをとってたし、逆に 3D になって本当にファイナルファンタジーなのかっていう自問自答しながらね進んでいったようなところがあって、今回 PS2 になってやっぱり声を入れたり全部リアルタイムで描こうとかっていうのは、やっぱり一つその不安もあるわけですよ。ないし反対意見もあったり。たださっきも言ったようにやっぱりチャレンジしていくっていうことは僕はそのファイナルファンタジーっていうタイトルの持つ一番の意味だと思ってるんで、なんて言うんでしょう、だからこう今ね予測もつかないような方向に逆にね行ってほしいなと思います。
Simply put, the Final Fantasy series has been the most
Who's this
successful
guy?
innovative in video game history.
Who's this guy?
Captured fans by always staying
It's
on
been
the cutting
like
edge of technology and
Japanese
storytelling.
developers for like
Final Fantasy X is no
30
exception.
minutes and Final Fantasy X is a great game. It's like, where'd he come from?
As usual, the game has a completely new storyline and a new combat system. Recently, we went to Japan and talked to the team at Squaresoft to find out how they're keeping the series fresh.
Final Fantasy X takes place in a big city called Zanarkand. They play a fictional sport called Blitzball there.
Not on my stream, buddy.
He's a popular player in this sport and comes to a place called Spila to play. When he tries to return to his hometown,
Wait,
he meets
did
many
you say
different
spear? Did you say
people, and that's where the
Spilta?
story
Like,
starts.
did that guy mess up? Hold on.
The main character is a popular player in this sport and comes to a place called Spila to play.
Spila!
His hometown, he
Boy,
meets many different people,
how did you
and
mess
that's
up
where
the
story
name?
starts.
Spira.
In order to shock and
Where'd you get
surprise
that L
players
from?
the way I did in Final Fantasy 7 and 8, we had to keep including new elements in the game that nobody thought of before. In Final Fantasy X, we could add the voiceovers for the characters and show the facial expressions very well. Because of that, I kept the overall story very simple. For the theme of Final Fantasy X, all of us wanted to create something that other companies hadn't done. That was our main goal. Independence is the main theme for the story. Independence from society or parents as you grow up.
These ads. I don't care about the hidden lights on the Honda. Or the 10-sized upgraded screen. I just want to hear this battle system. Also, I still want those figures. I saw them once in person. I didn't get them. I didn't have the money because I was too young. Someday, I'm gonna get them. I'm gonna get that. I'm gonna get those Coke figures.
Open up a window on the screen that shows the order of attacks, so the player can play strategically by seeing which monsters are going to attack.
Somebody overleveled there. It's like Walker's health was almost at 1,000. Like his health shouldn't hit 1,000 until like Jose, maybe Mushroom Rock.
Allows your character to advance more quickly. For example, when you damage a monster 1.5 times more than his hit points, you can receive more spheres. This way, the Game Maniac can be satisfied by rewarding them with faster.
Game Maniac.
For the normal player, if they memorize the monster's characteristics, they can finish the battle scenes quicker. That's what we were considering when we created the battle system for this game. We took into account both audiences. By the end of the game, you will have 7 characters in your group, so we gave each character a special skill.
A flyer! That's your department, right?
Why don't we let our
Summoner shows what she's made of.
This way the player has to utilize each of the different characters.
Nothing to fear, the hero's here!
I want the player to think about each character's skills when you battle a strong monster, so you know which character should fight against which monster. In previous Final Fantasy games, when you would summon a monster, they gave one special attack and then left. So they were usually like magic attacks. But this time when you summon a monster, they stick around and fight alongside you.
Please, fight with us.
The summoned monsters are very important
Oh
for the
boy.
storyline, so I thought that the player might enjoy seeing them in a battle scene.
No, I did. That was like a super dope thing at the time. Especially coming out the older Final Fantasy, just being able to actually control the Aeons, I thought was really cool.
So the game has a greater impact. A new element that we introduced is an event scene. You will usually see these when you are fighting with a boss. So for example, you can fight on top of a flying ship or the edge of a cliff. We use a special situation to start a battle scene so the surrounding elements become part of the battle. The graphics and the camera work will change depending on the situation. This gives the player a more cinematic feel.
Alright, here we go. What do they got to say about the music in this game? And they got new bow.
Final Fantasy series, we don't limit ourselves
Ah,
to just
PlayStation
broadcasting
Underground.
music.
That's why that voice sounded familiar.
We use any kind of music that we think is interesting. We use an orchestra
Ooh.
and a chorus, as we have in the previous Final Fantasy games.
Show more footage. I want to see more footage of that. The choir doing the hymn.
But this time, we also use some rock and roll sounds to give some scenes a harder edge.
Who is that guy? Where is he at somewhere?
There's a song in Final Fantasy X sung by a folk singer named Riki. She lives on an island south of Japan called Amami. We asked her
No,
to
the
sing
real
the
question,
theme
who
song
is the
to
guy
Final
doing the
Fantasy
vocals on Overworld? It's like, yeah, this song's really nice, it's great,
She
but
has such a
nah,
great,
who's the
beautiful
guy
voice that
screaming?
We're not going to translate the song into English. Even though the American audience is not going to know what she is singing about, they should grasp the feelings and emotions she is trying to get across. I'm looking forward to see what you think about it. And of course, the song will be on the US soundtrack.
Another thing I was stupid and didn't get as a kid.
Right after finishing up production on Final Fantasy VIII, we had a meeting to discuss adding voiceovers to match the beautiful images we could create.
Hey, not this way.
Look.
And now that we have the PS2 and DVD quality, we have a lot more room to store things, so that everything,
We called it
including
Sin.
graphics and sound,
Sin?
can be better.
We called it sin.
The most surprising thing that I
Don't get me
experienced in
started.
LA
I could
when
probably
we were
recite the
recording
first 3
voiceovers
hours.
was that all the actors came to the studio in the morning without any information, and they started right off the bat. And they performed perfectly. In Japan, we requested that all the actors in a scene be in the studio at the same time. But in LA, we recorded each character separately. I was worried how it might work out in the beginning, but it worked out great.
We have been using motion capture since Final Fantasy VIII. We didn't use it that much in Final Fantasy IX
Because of
the
dancing.
characters weren't designed to be
I do know the dancing
In
scene
Final
was
Fantasy
mocap.
X, we used motion capture almost all the time to make the characters seem real. Now that we have the power of the PS2, we were able to have better definition in the battle scenes, with smoother movement and facial expressions for the characters. I really appreciate that we could show these details. Also, we can transition between real-time and full-motion video smoothly now, which makes me really happy.
Still smooth.
The most challenging part was, well, actually there were a lot of challenges. Particularly getting the details of facial expressions.
There's that funny
and the movement of
face.
hair and clothing. The time it took for a scene depends on the complexity of that scene. The shortest time was 2 to 3 weeks. Most of the time, though, it takes about 1 or 2 months. The longest scene we rendered took about half a year.
With all the work that's gone into it, Final Fantasy X is sure to blow away longtime fans of the series and new players alike. The Squaresoft team is excited about the game, and so are we.
Oh, Squaresoft.
The story of Final Fantasy X is really interesting. So without giving anything away, I want to encourage all the fans of the series not to give up and play all the way to the end of the game. I think you will enjoy the ending.
Do we have to say get discouraged to get to the end? It's like, damn, you're already kind of getting people disappointed. All right, that was good. That was a good. Had a mix of like that first one, whatever that was from, and then a PlayStation Underground segment. I might actually have that segment. Hold on, if I go to my, now I don't feel like getting up. I have a jam pack, from 2000. It was November. It was like the October issue, and I remember that it had the Final Fantasy X demo. It might actually have that footage on there. I'd have to go back and look. You know, some point soon I will do that because I plan to start playing some demo discs soon. So, you know, I'll find out someday. All right, next up is another long one. This is something I have not seen. I've only seen this probably once or twice in my life, and I was surprised it was even on YouTube. The episode of Cheat focusing on Final Fantasy X. In Tech TV, back before it even turned to G4. Like, it's some old footage. And man, I miss G4. I know G4 is like back now, but I miss when G4 was on TV and you had X-Play, you had Attack of the Show, you had Cheat, you had all like the other great shows, Electric Playground, you had like the one else just Cinematics.
The cast of characters that inhabit the game. Final Fantasy X is the latest game in the popular RPG series from Squaresoft. With a unique cast of heroes, villains, monsters, and striking visuals, Final Fantasy X lives up to the epic status that its predecessors have earned for the game series. In the game, humanity is on the verge of destruction by a powerful force known only as Sin. Players take on the role of Titus, a teenage player of a futuristic sport called Blitzball. Titus joins a group of heroes on a quest to save the world of Spira from
Spoilers. Showing a lot of near end game footage.
System that improves upon the idea of turn-based fighting used by most RPGs. Players can improve their abilities and magical powers as they advance through the game with the Sphere Grid, which is a new addition to the Final Fantasy play system. Featuring countless hours of playability, side quests, leveling up, a nearly impossible to beat ending, and learning to play the
Impossible to beat ending. Hopefully he's talking about Broska's Final Aeon, because he's talking about you Yevon. I don't know what to tell you.
Now that you've learned about the world of Spira, it's time to get to the fighting. One of the toughest battles for gamers is definitely the boss battle with Evray, a flying fiend who's stopping you from enjoying the skies in your
Man, that Kamari statue is pretty dope.
You'll have to do some evasive air maneuvers and fight the ugly brute, which can be tough.
You know, Evray is tough. Let me see what his strategy is. Let me see if it's like mine.
Deep in the game, so avert your sensitive eyes if you don't want a spoiler on this one.
All right, what's their strategy?
Evray, the great sacred beast, protector of Bavel.
Oh, great. Just what you need. Interrupted by a really big dragon.
The red carpet has teeth.
Yes, Orin. Big, sharp, nasty teeth. Can't we just keep going and maybe it will leave us alone?
We're gonna fight that thing!
Oh, all right, if we must. It's fighting time. First order of business, set your party's fighting order. Then, all hands on deck. Battle stations! Battle stations!
Let's see what he's got.
Using your physical characters like Titus, Orin, and Riku is best when the fiend is near your ship. Evray cuts all magical damage inflicted on itself by half, so Lulu will be mostly ineffective in this fight, unless she has her third-level elemental spells.
I do respect he had Riku in there.
Oh yeah, we forgot to tell you. You have to help Sid pilot the airship during the battle.
But tell me quick, huh? This rig ain't so nimble, you hear?
Roger, I'll give the command.
Not alone you won't.
Not alone you won't.
Fun, huh? Just watch for when Titus or Riku's turns come right before Sid's. Use your trigger command to pull the ship away from Evray. The first thing you should do to come out on top in this battle is cast the most powerful version of the slow spell you have on the monster. This will delay its attacks.
Why do Sloga? You could just do slow.
And your fighting party.
You just wasted
this will
magic.
increase the number of turns they can attack during the battle. Evray is a very tough boss character. This will not be an easy battle. Have Waka cast his Darkbuster spell. That makes it harder for the beast to see you and lowers its attack accuracy. Make sure to use your overdrive attacks like Titus's Spiral Cut whenever
Wait!
possible.
Wait a second! Spiral Cut? Only?
Attacks like
You know how far in the game Everett is? How do you only have Spiral Cut? You only have to do an overdrive 10 times to get Slice and Dice. Man, what are they doing? What are they do? That really bothers me right there. Like, how do you only have I don't expect you to have Blitz Ace on here unless you're like me, unless you're crazy enough to get it early on, but at least have Slice and Dice. Maybe Energy Rain, but only Spiral Cut? Man.
Titus's Spiral Cut whenever possible. As the battle progresses, Every will cast haste on itself to counter your slow spell. Keep casting slow on Every and haste on your fighting party members to keep the balance of power with you. During its attack, Every will inhale in one turn, then exhale a poison attack on its next. Don't go into this fight without plenty of potions to counter the deadly gas. The beast will at some point pull back from the airship. Waka's powerful Blitzball attack will come in handy now. Keep up the fight using slow spells on the creature, haste spells on your party, and eventually you will get the upper hand on Everett.
And I noticed he's not using Riku as a powerhouse. And I would have given him props. You know, that actually is a good strategy for it, just using haste and slow and kind of inflicting dark.
Right.
But
we've gotten you through a brutal boss.
you only have Spiral Cut. You didn't use Riku for like attacks.
You wouldn't have Final Fantasy without some super secret weapons. And in the case of 10, it's the legendary weapons. But getting your grubby hands on them involves finding the mysterious Cloudy and Celestial Mirrors. That's where we come in. To get the Cloudy Mirror, gamers must visit the Rimium Temple in the Calm Lands.
Oh, this is giving me it's giving me
Yes, I said
awful
talk to
feelings
the
right now
Chocobo.
seeing this race
It will let
again.
you race down the spiraling track beneath the temple. If you win the race, you'll also win the Cloudy Mirror. Seems easy enough, right? That's only one step. After obtaining the Cloudy Mirror,
No, the
you
hard step would be having to do that race
and frankly
to
cooler
get all
sounding
5
Celestial
chests and
Mirror.
win.
To make the transformation from so-so reflective piece of glass to cool-sounding reflective piece of glass, you must return to the Macalania Woods. Start by talking to the mother and son near the Save Sphere in the southern part of the
Macalania.
Macalania Woods. The woman will tell you that she is waiting for her husband. Go to the Macalania Woods campsite and talk to the man
Man,
to the right.
G4 was
Yes,
so
you win
sick
your
back in the
very
day. The
own
fact
Chocobo if you guessed
you
that
could
this
watch
husband
this
was
on
keeping his wife
TV.
waiting. Tell him where to meet up with his family.
Like,
and
I know
return
you
to
can do
Macalania
YouTube, but
Woods
there's just
South.
something about like it being on
Near the Save Sphere,
national
you'll find the
TV that
magical
was
glowing
so
path
cool
of
for
pretty
me.
colors. I think we should walk across it. When you come to an
I watched
intersection,
hours of
both
G4.
ways,
Like this
and
is
you'll
my
see traffic
station
to
back
your
then.
right.
Like when I found it,
Seriously,
this is
and
all I
you'll
had
see a
on
boy
for
standing near a large crystal.
ages.
Talk to the boy and use the Cloudy Mirror on the crystal. Presto, changeo, nothing up my sleeve, and poof! You have transformed it into the
Celestial Mirror.
Anyone who hasn't bothered to do this with their mirrors yet should know the Celestial Mirror is the key you need to obtain your adventurer's legendary weapons. Is it worth all that trouble just for some cool legendary weapons? It depends on how much of a collector you are.
Depends on which
It may not stop you
weapon.
from beating the game, but just think how much cooler Kamari would look holding a spirit
Oh,
lance.
I want that. That statue looks so sick.
We're going to delve into even more secrets here on Final Fantasy X. Learn how to raise chocobos in a time of nothing flat, dodge those annoying lightning bolts, and get all the secret passwords for the airship.
Ugh.
Early on, cheat!
Dive into Blitzball. Ugh. No, thank you. I don't want to dive in anything Blitzball related.
We're deep into our special Final Fantasy X edition of Cheat. We've actually teamed up with Squaresoft to give you an inside scoop on how to get through the toughest parts of the game.
Here's the scoop, Sonny.
People kind of dislike Blitzball.
He's not wrong.
My only advice is keep playing it until you win your first game.
The strategy to Blitzball is if you get the chance to recruit some good players.
Yeah. What a good strategy.
You have a chance after a certain point in the game to go around and actually recruit some players and figure out if they'll be the ones you want to have on your team. And then at that point, I think the best thing to do is try to get your team to level up and doing a lot of passes, just working on the fundamentals of the game.
Well, listen, if you're keeping Keepa as your goalie, you're not doing good.
Really fun. Just sort of keep plugging away until you win your first game.
It's like get brother. He's one of the best goalies in the game. Look, see that's what's gonna happen. You have Keepa.
Blitzball is pretty much the big secret in Blitzball is that brother, the Albed, who's Riku's brother, who pilots the
See?
the airship. Best player in the game. soon as I won my first game, I couldn't get off of it. It was 60 games later, and I got the item. The reason I started playing Blitzball
World Championship.
The sigil for Walker's ultimate weapon.
One of the worst things in the entire game is getting that.
Contrary to what you get in the storyline in the game, you can actually recruit Waka, and though he says that he's going to retire and does retire, there's a point later on in the game where if you do get a chance to talk to him, you get to recruit him, and he's a good guy to have, of course.
I know there's that guy in Luca at the stand. He's a really good player.
Of course, things aren't nearly as hard in FF10 if you've got the right spells and weapons under your belt. The question is, just how to get the best toys for your heroes? Well, the answers lie within some of the more mind-bending puzzles hidden in the game. You've probably noticed when you've been leveling up your characters that all the best spells are hidden under those pesky level 4 locks on the sphere grid. Well, how can your life be complete without those delicious Ultima spells? And how do you get yourself a set of those rare little keys? Look no further than your handy
Monster Arena fighting.
Ah, what a nice day for a jog through the grasslands of Spira. Not a care in the world, just you and nature and a pair of really ugly monsters! I hate it when that happens. Okay, so it's a nice day for a fight against a pair of chimera brains in the grasslands of Spira. Let's get them, guys. Wait a second, though. Set the testosterone aside for this encounter. In this fight,
why do they keep whooping that?
Not brawn. In this instance, the brain is letting one of the ladies take center stage.
Take him. Leave us alone, okay?
You need to use Riku's bribe ability to pay off the chimera brains. There is a point to this tactic. If you bribe each of the creatures with 196,000 gil, they turn their snaky tails and run. We tried to figure out the exchange rate for 196,000 gil, but trust us, you're getting a bargain when you see the result. After Riku bribes both beasties, you win the battle. Your reward? A pair of level 4 key spheres, needed to unlock your character's most powerful spells and abilities on the sphere grid. You unlocked a cheat. Bonus stage.
What is the sphere grid?
Overall, just to try to get through and play through the game well, it's important to really take care of your sphere grid. And what I mean by that is you'll get spheres in the game that allow you to level up your characters. With these spheres, and each time you level up, you can apply them to the sphere grid so that you can continue to level up your characters and get them to learn abilities and such.
Lancet? Why do you teach Lulu Lancet?
And each time you get
that's random.
Each time you level up and you continue to implement them into your sphere grid, your characters will pretty much be on par with the rest of the enemies throughout the game.
So you've got the Celestial Mirror and you're ready to start collecting your legendary weapons. There's just one little glitch. To use all the weapons' full powers, you're going to have to get 2 power-up items for every character. And
Crest and the
you're going
sigil.
to have to dodge 200. Yes, 200 lightning bolts into thunder planes. Looks like it's time to ride the lightning.
Oh.
Whoever said lightning.
Oh, I hate this so much.
Obviously hasn't played Final Fantasy X. As your quest leads you
and they're using the strategy.
Thunder planes.
You're standing in that one spot and just getting the consistent one.
Awarded for dodging the static discharges. One of the most challenging tasks in the game is dodging 200 consecutive lightning strikes. Why must you do this, you may ask? Well, if you don't, you can become a backup generator for a Las Vegas casino. Actually, it's the only way to obtain the Venus Sigil. You must have this item to obtain Lulu's legendary weapon later in the game. To dodge the lightning, press the X button when the screen flashes. This gives you a split second to dodge the bolt. The problem is random encounters with monsters make it impossible to dodge 200 strikes. To successfully accomplish this task, you must equip the No Encounters ability. This keeps the fiends away from you as you dodge the lightning. You need to obtain 30 units of the very rare Purifying Salt to equip this ability. As you try to avoid
or just go to Omega Dungeons and you can get it there.
And take a break every so often.
I really recommend taking at least a break every 10 or 15 minutes of doing that. And
no, don't take a break. You're going to lose your momentum.
Save your game, because if you do that, you actually are resetting the entire side quest. You can actually hit pause, walk away, take a break, come back, and continue counting on from that point.
A little patience goes a long way.
That's not a smart plan. Don't listen to that guy.
Once you've built up a sweat trying to get Lulu's Venus Sigil, it's time for us to hit pause for a little break too. When we come back, we'll dive even deeper into Final Fantasy X.
Where's that Lulu one? That one's pretty sick too.
Grab the passwords for the airship, and maybe even learn a few codes to make your cheating heart happy. Only on Cheat. Hey, will you go to prom with me? Oh no, you're so hairy. Welcome back to Cheat. I'm your head cheatarian, Corey Rouse. We're doing an all Final Fantasy X edition of the show, and we've already helped you get past bosses like Everay, unlocked the secret to level 4 key spheres, and even taught you how to dodge lightning bolts. But now it's time to get dirty. Once you got the airship in the game, you'll notice that you have the ability to input specific passwords.
I saw some of
to
them. They're
access
pretty
hidden areas of the
expensive.
world map. You can find passwords by deciphering the secret outbed messages hidden around Spira, or you could just do it the cheat way and get some juicy codes from us. Getting around the world of Final Fantasy X is made much easier when traveling in the airship. After heading to the bridge and talking to Sid, you'll be able to travel anywhere in Spira just by pointing to it on the world map. Yes, ladies and gamers, you too will be sitting pretty as you ride along in style in your very own Final Fantasy X airship. Come down to Corey's Airships and fly away in yours today. Some equipment shown optional, mileage may vary. As you travel in the airship, you may notice places on the map that you can't reach no matter what you try. We've got something for you better than a global positioning system, though. The secret passwords to get to the 3 secret areas on the map. You can enter these passwords with the input feature in the airship's command list. These passwords are found in the game, but are written in the alphabet language. If your translating skills aren't up to par,
Forgot what
let us
the
help
other
you.
one. God
The
Hand.
first password is God Hand. It will let you reach the ravine below Mushroom Rock Road. Riku's legendary weapon can be found here. The second password is Victorious. Entering it will open the secret location of the Besaid Ruins. Here you'll be able to obtain Riku's Victorious Armor, which repels 3 kinds of elemental attacks. The last password is Murasame. This also opens a secret locale in the Besaid Ruins where you will find Orin's Murasame, giving him the 1 MP cost ability.
Which
You
is
can travel to
pointless
secret
for
areas with
him.
your fancy airship, but everyone knows that the cool kids race chocobos. The chicken-like animals are the mascots of the Final Fantasy universe, and in Final Fantasy X, they'll even get you some big prizes. Well, that is if you learn how to race them correctly.
Oh
Lucky for you,
no.
we got some racing tips straight from the pros. Of all the creatures of the world of Final Fantasy X, at least one is friendly towards you. The chocobos are
Oh my
During the game,
god.
players will find themselves with the
This is the
opportunity to
worst
become
mini game
a
of all
chocobo
time.
trainer. Don't mock this seemingly benign side quest. It's one of the choke points giving many Final Fantasy X gamers chocobo-sized headaches. Your goal after going through the first 3 levels of
Oh, I don't
training
want
is
to
to
see
get a
this
perfect
footage
time of
again.
0 in a race against the chocobo trainer.
It's like I just did it like
Yes,
a
this
month and a
sounds
half
almost as
ago, and
ridiculous
like
as Carrot
it's giving me
Top winning Best Actor,
PTSD seeing
but
it
it can
again.
actually be done.
That's got to be one of the toughest parts of the game. I can tell you now, you're probably not going to get it right the first time. It takes a lot of luck.
There's no real trick or easy way to get the perfect score. You simply must run a
This
perfect
RNG
race against the
garbage.
trainer, avoiding all blitz balls and birds that come at you.
You have to hope the
Players
game
also
is
need to
fair in
grab
the
balloons as you
balloons.
race.
The birds
Each
don't
balloon
screw you
subtracts 3
over.
seconds from your race time. You must also collect enough balloons to knock your score down to 0.
If you can do that after hopefully 30 minutes, I think you'll nail it just right.
30 minutes. It took me like 3 weeks the first time.
Flat, Titus will receive the Sun Sigil. It's required to activate his legendary weapon, the Khalid Bolg. Again, a seemingly innocuous challenge that some gamers may pass over, but it is essential to winning the game.
Well, you don't need it to beat the game. You need it to beat this game. It's like, no.
The numerous side quests in Final Fantasy X will often be linked together with a common end. A pair of our viewer requests are linked too. One viewer is having trouble battling Seymour on Mount Gagazet, while another is having trouble catching butterflies.
Ugh.
How could these possibly be linked?
They're all terrible. That's why they're linked.
Power-ups for Kamari's Spirit Lance. One of these power-ups is the Saturn Sigil.
Oh
You
my!
obtain this
I
item
hate
by
this
beating
one
the
too.
butterfly
It's another
catcher
bad
minigame.
mini game.
This is actually not that hard to do. You can go on your butterfly hunt in 2 different areas in the Macalania Woods. You must simply memorize where you find each of the blue butterflies. Catching all 7 without touching the red ones will give you the first power-up item. Keep searching if you can't find all the blue butterflies. The hardest part of this sequence is battling Seymour on Mount Gagazet. When you beat him, you'll find the Saturn Crest. This is the second power-up item for Kamari's Spirit Lance and ties together these different viewer requests. The villain with the angular hairdo will put up quite a fight. Your best bet will
And
be
your
to try
meaningless
different combinations of
existence
spells
with
in the
it.
Fighting party and against Seymour. Casting
Oh, they didn't
Hysteria
even play
will
it.
speed up your attacks, while Yuna's Protect spell will help against Seymour's attacks. He will tend to cast Dispel on
Kitty?
you, so you will likely have to continue recasting these spells
Okay.
throughout the battle. Seymour follows a pattern of going after characters individually until he beats them. He will alternate between Lance of Atrophy and Full Life. You'll only have a turn between these, so Holy Water will help the character, as will casting Silence on Seymour so he can't cast spells. Seymour will continue with even more powerful attacks as the battle continues. Mega Potions will help your characters bounce back quickly. Once he tries his Total Annihilation attack, start unleashing your Aeons.
Oh, these people must have cheated.
There's
like,
no one easy way to win this battle against the villain
how does
Seymour, so
Yojimbo
you'll need an element of luck to win the battle
have
as well.
that much health at that
No one
point in
said
the
it was gonna
game?
be easy. It wouldn't be a Final Fantasy game if it was.
Yeah, they had to use some cheats because like Tice was doing like 9,000 each hit. Yeah, Tice was doing 9,000 each hit. Yojimbo had like 10,000 HP. It's like at that point in the game, you would have just gotten Yojimbo if you even had enough money to get him. And the way to even level him up to get to 10,000 HP takes ages. It's so slow. Cheats cheating themselves using action replay. Cause that's the only answer I can think of.
Pace, find a new area, fight a few monsters for a good amount of time, and just keep going. And don't stay too long. Don't try and race for the game. That never works. Racing through the game never works. So it's actually more. It's more of a challenge to get through a game at low levels than it is to just sort of go through at a normal pace.
Secrets in the game. You know, there are a lot of points in the game where if you don't take the time to talk to a lot of the characters that you come across in villages, you'll miss out on a few items. So, for example, if you go to
Energy
a town
Blast.
early in the game and you decide to go through
Besaid.
the town and then leave when you're done with that part of the mission, you might miss out on a place where you can go and speak to somebody at the item shop and acquire like a special item.
Just say you can lose out on Veil Force Second Overdrive.
This is just the tip of the iceberg in terms of secrets in Final Fantasy X. Be sure to watch upcoming episodes of Cheat for even more choke points and tips for beating this epic game. If you want a complete guide to conquering the world of Spira, make sure to check out the official strategy guide from Brady Games.
I got it right here. I got this official strategy guide right here. It's busted, but I got it. I'm legit. I'm a gamer, guys. That was cool, actually. That was actually really nice. It was cool seeing the older version of Cheat. I haven't seen it in a good while. You know, it was nice. A nice blast from the past of things. It's definitely, this style of video is not done anymore at all. 2004. All right, and of course, you know what? I had to show this. Let's show it.
You probably shouldn't laugh anymore.
Okay, that part's still funny. Should probably stop. No. And for good measure, the Japanese version.
Get the new iPhone 12 on Spectrum Mobile's 5G, and boom.
I prefer. I'll take the English one over the Japanese one in that case. Ooh, Baja Blast. That sounds good right now. Dang, a Baja Blast sounds good. And now from the man himself, James Arnold Taylor, talking about the laugh.
Arnold Taylor here, the voice of Tidus in Final Fantasy X, and it is kind of Final Fantasy X month on my chat channel here on YouTube. So I want to share some stories with you, and of course, sharing stories about Final Fantasy, you could not do it without mentioning this one right here. The laugh, right? The Tidus laugh. Okay, stop, Tidus, stop. What's the deal with the laugh, James? Why the awkward, bad acted laugh? Here it is, for once and for all, James Arnold Taylor telling you about the Titus laugh. It was supposed to be an awkward, goofy, dumb laugh. For one, here's how it works. So when we did the game was it was like a phone book. The script was like this, and it took us 3.5 months to record this fantastic journey. So many years ago, which I never even could have imagined would still be talked about daily, and emails that I get pretty much daily from people all over the world thanking me for my work as Titus in Final Fantasy X. And to you all, I say thank you for loving this game, because I was just a very lucky person that got to take the journey with all of you and be a part of it. But the laugh was on purpose, okay? It was written that way. It's supposed to be like that. He's being a bit of a goof there. They laugh at the end of it. He laughs a little before it. This is silly, right? He knows how to laugh, okay? It's part of the relationship of Yuna and Titus getting together and getting to know each other. So the way it worked was we watched, these were cut scenes, as they call them for the games. And I was in the studio with the director, Jack Fletcher, and then the producers and all the folks from Square Enix. And they showed me the Japanese version, because of course the game was already done in Japanese, and we redubbed it to the American version. And they showed it to me, and you know, the Japanese actor was doing it just as awkwardly as me. And again, it was on purpose. It's supposed to be that way. So, you know, I've been an actor many years. I know how to laugh and make it sound real. So I was there recording it all on my own. Hetty Burris, who plays Yuna, and I never actually recorded anything together, none of our dialogue, and we met, I think, somewhere in the middle of the game, but we never actually recorded anything. We're never in the studio together. So that's how it works with video games. You always record on your own. We watched the cutscene, we went back and redid it, and I did it to picture, meaning I watched it and watched the lip flap and watched the laughs and did it to that. I would hear little beeps in my headphones. It would go beep, 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 and where the fourth beep would come in is where I know to come in with my lines and my laugh. And that's exactly how we did it. And all these years later, I still look back at it, and I think it's great. I think it's funny. I know a lot of people go, oh, it's bad, or oh, it's bad acting, or oh, it's stupid, or it's awkward. Yeah, it is. It's supposed to be. That's the point. That's the beauty of this game, too, is I think it touched on so many things in real life and the way people react to each other. And even though it is within a more stilted, acted way, the whole game is like that.
Oh boy, my battery died.
Very real, and they mean something to so many of us, and that's why I'm so grateful to all of you. And that is the story on the Titus laugh. And it is pronounced Titus, not Titus. It's Titus.
I know,
so
James,
that's another story for
still...
another day. Anyways, please subscribe to my channel. Please follow me on Twitter. That's where I really respond to people. And if you really want to get questions answered and such, you can submit questions to the JAT Show. Go to my website, www.jamesarnoldtaylor.com. Click on the JAT Show, and you will then be able to submit a question to me that will go in. And a couple times a month, I do Ask JAT, where I answer questions, and hopefully yours will be answered. We're getting tons of submissions, though, for the Final Fantasy X contest, where at the end of this month, March, I'm going to actually give away a
looks like I fell asleep.
From
the camera
Dear Friends
off.
Music from Final Fantasy concert that happened at the Disney Concert Hall, the Los Angeles Philharmonic, that I hosted back in 2004. It was the music of Nobuo Uematsu. It was fantastic, and I'm going to give one of those away to somebody, and I hope it's you. So thanks for
spoiler alert, it wasn't me. I didn't get it, unfortunately.
Subscribe. Follow me, Jat Actor, on Twitter, Instagram, and all that stuff. See ya.
All right, so I have to switch camera batteries. I also need to go get some stuff real quick. I'm gonna go get some more water. So I'm actually gonna do a quick break. I'm gonna do a quick little break, and I'll be back in probably 2-3 minutes. So yeah, I'll be back. All right, I'm back. Let me fix this camera. I had to switch the batteries, get it all in. I have another one now charging. Let me get this muted, turned off. Song's still really good. All right, we've still got a lot left on the plate on this. I might skip this next one. I might come back to it. I don't know. I think I'm gonna switch to this one. Switch to this one right now. This one is my Final Fantasy X ending was changed outside of
we have
Japan.
everything you need to make the most of it.
And I got this stupid ad here, just ruining the flow of everything. Ugh.
This video is brought to you by NordVPN. Get 70.
I'm talking about ads.
Final
Here's
Fantasy
a
X's
huge
ending
one
has
here.
a
It's
rather
like,
touching
thanks.
moment in it, where the High Summoner Yuna says farewell to main protagonist Tidus after the pair are shown to develop quite a strong romantic bond over the course of the game. In the English version of the game, Yuna's romantic feelings are finally made explicit during the ending, as she says, "I love you." In the Japanese version, however, Yuna doesn't say this, but she instead says arigato, which is Japanese for thank you. Now, the reason for this may be clear to those especially familiar with the Japanese language, but we actually also have an official comment on this from none other than the head of localization, Alexander O. Smith. Smith spoke about this script change in the April 2015 issue of Edge magazine. I've been able to purchase a copy of this magazine, and you can see the relevant excerpt from the interview on screen now. In the interview, Smith says that he was the one to really push for this change, despite heavy resistance from higher ups over on the Japanese side. He explains that people in Japan don't use the term "I love you" the same way as us over in the West, and that they wouldn't express their feelings in this way. What he means by this is that Japanese is a lot more nuanced and subtle, and also that the way Yuna uses the term arigato could convey many different possible meanings depending on the context. Smith must have felt that despite arigato normally being translated to thank you, that due to the context, "I love you" would make things more clear for Western culture, and similar to how Japanese people would interpret the scene. Also, for some further context here, Yuna says this line of dialogue surrounded by lots of the other characters. This means that saying something as intimate as "I love you" would be even less usual in Japan. He also says that apparently "I love you" has never been used in a Final Fantasy game prior to this, leading to even more resistance, but he kept pushing for the line to be added, and it was eventually agreed to by the Japanese side and thus added to the English version. Which line do you prefer more, "I love you" or "thank you"? As always, please let us know your thoughts in the comments below, and consider subscribing to see more videos on how media is changed around the world. Until next time, thank you for watching.
I kind of like think the change to "I love you" fits better though. The thank you does work in Japan, but I think definitely the "I love you" kind of gives a bit more weight to that moment. Because it would have been weird if it's just like "thank you" and then there, but I don't know. At least for me, like that line change was a good one. All right, and now that's gonna be it for the like documentary archive kind of footage right now. Now's kind of the point of weird offshoot videos. I kind of have this playlist set up into different segments, and this is the challenge portion of the playlist. All right, this next one is 1,000 plus hour grind is over. Final Fantasy X HD No Spear Grid update. God, more ads. You know, keeping on the train. You know, I did recently the No Spear Grid run, and you know, I did a very basic version of it, and I talked about in the very beginning of that run that there is the big boy version of it where you can go really crazy trying to go after Dark Aeons, which I didn't recommend. But you know, people out there have done it. And this person out there is doing it, which is pretty insane. I'm only going to watch a little bit of this because the video's, it's like 7, but I just want to show the beginning of it. When he goes to his stats. Alrighty, right there. All right. maxed out hours. That already is pretty crazy. Like the furthest I ever got in X was close to almost 200. I got about 153 hours. So the fact they got to like 1,000 is pretty crazy. And if this no Spirit Grid still, like their stats still, they're still weak as hell. You get here, just like, look at this. Look at this screen. Veil 4 maxed out health. Shiva maxed out. Bahamut. Mage's Sister's ridiculous. And the fact that even the stats are maxed too. Like Magic 255, Strength. Like this stuff takes so long to level up on this. It's like you saw how much how many Fortune Spears it took to level up one. It's insane.
Plus hours of on and off grinding, we are finally there. I have finally got my sister's luck to 130 with each sister. With this, I can finally do Dark Anima attempts in no Sphere Grid. This isn't optimal, by the way. Usually, if you'd want max stats, but grinding for max stats is super time-consuming. Like per Aeon, getting my luck to 130 has taken me between 260 280 hours.
Oh man!
Depending on my dark mana drop, so I would recommend doing
that is wild. 230 hours to get the luck up, man. All right, I almost skip to that. I just want to see it. Now this next one is very important. This is the first Final Fantasy X video I can really recall seeing on YouTube, like a big one. And second, it was what led me to learn about the No Spear Grid challenge. And it's a video I followed, still to this day, because I used it when I was doing my research and my practice run for my No Spear Grid run. Of course, I got to bring up the man, the myth, the legend, Dark Kefka. Oh, this ad ruined it. I had a whole little intro going, and this ad just killed it. Killed my flow. But no, Dark Kefka. Back in July 19th, 2006. I remember watching it pretty much when it first went up. And yeah, this was my first time ever really seeing this thing and kind of seeing how far you could push Final Fantasy X. And it's pretty wild thinking about it. At this point in time, Final Fantasy VI was pretty much only 4 years old. Like 4 or 5, like it's crazy. But I remember watching this whole series live as it was going up. And following his stuff for a good bit too. Like, Dark Kefka back then was pretty much the king of the Final Fantasy stuff. It was like, if I was going to do... When I did this playlist, I was like, I have to have Dark Kefka in here. One, I brought him up a lot during that playthrough. So it's like, what better than to actually show footage from this? Chocobo Eater / Mushroom Rock. I got turned up because this video is loud. I don't know what he recorded with, but it's super loud. And I won't watch all this either. I just want to watch a little bit into it. We're NSG pros. Well, I beat it now. I can guess this. I could say I'm a pro. I still can't get over that one strategy I pulled off when I first did it back on Twitch. Like the fact I got like 7 overdrives in a row is still crazy. Spiral cut, you're saying X, fire wheel, spilling breath, move, burn him. Okay. And you can push it back. Hit it hard, Lulu. That didn't sound right. All right, well, we can skip that. I just wanted to watch a little bit of that. Yeah, wanted to watch. Oh, stop doing that. I just want to watch a little bit of the Dark Kefka thing. And this next one, this is moving into speedrun stuff, because I mentioned this also in my playthrough. Was about how you can skip the entirety of Jose. Here's the actual footage of it. And it is using speedruns. It's pretty wild because like the speedruns for this game has gotten like ridiculous now. It used to be like a 12 to 10 hour run. Now it's gotten down to like 8 to like 7 hours, which is crazy. It's like, look at this. It's such a crazy glitch. Bruh. Oh boy. And then before that, we get to pray at the temple in Jose. Well, before that, we don't even get to finish the line because he's already on. And look at that. You skipped an hour of gameplay. It's like, look, it seems pretty tough to do. It's like you have to wait. You have to wait for them to push you. Then I guess the game puts you into the other area. Like just looking at the comments, like the description. With the end, cancel the text box from the priest and X the area. It's like it seems like it's a really tough thing to pull off, but it looks really sick. All right, this is another one of those like really crazy things. So this is a guy. I can never pronounce the name. It's like ULII. It's like 100 I's. But this guy does like power grinding in games, and he did one for Final Fantasy X years ago. And I used to say like growing up, like I was pretty good with grinding in RPGs. I'm still pretty good. I will do it a lot. I enjoy it. It's fun. But when you get to this point, I'm just like, man, this is like next level grinding. Look at this.
I've made big progress in Final Fantasy X, as you can tell.
Look at that. Look at that right there. Like, where to begin? Okay. He's 600 hours in. He's just at the Calmlands. Titus and everyone in the party have break HP limit, 40,000. They each have max MP, spear grid, all maxed out. Look at the Gil. 600 hours of grinding. I have never. I didn't even know you could do this at this point in the game to break HP limit.
With the oddball at 42,000. Yeah, I've really put the sphere grid to great use, haven't I? At first glance, it really don't look like there's anything special here, but as I zoom out, you can start seeing that there's definitely a lot more to it than you realize.
It's like, man, this guy's grinding is next level.
You remember where Doublecast is, right? How it was all surrounded by locks? Well, it's now all HP boosts. Not to mention your luck boosts in here as well.
Oh my god. It takes so long to get those luck spears.
Yep, all these luck boosts.
Oh my.
And I also have a lot of magic boosts mixed in here. In areas where
And this guy's legit. This isn't like an action replay thing. He legit did this. He does it in a lot of other he did it in a lot of other RPGs.
Some of them behind level 3 locks. Like this used to be a lock, but now it's a strength boost.
At this point, this guy can beat the game like blindfolded. Nothing is stopping him. He's honestly, stat-wise, probably good enough to fight Dark Aeons.
More magic. And of course, there's more magic here. Look
Like,
at all
point
this
gets the
magic. Everyone's just so mad.
Yeah, here are the stats.
Going on, right?
Yeah, look at this. Max strength, defense, magic.
Yes, I've maxed a lot of the stats.
Oh my
But
god.
not all of them are maxed, however. I accidentally pressed the
Doesn't matter at this point, dude. You're set.
As you can tell here, her
You were
magic
never
is
gonna
maxed.
die.
So why isn't this one maxed? There's a reason for that. And it's all has to do with him.
But I have a lot of respect for this guy though, because like that's a lot of grinding, that's a lot of commitment to do. I could never do that. I could never do that. I don't have the time. I barely had enough time to do this playthrough back in January. So there's no way I had enough I got enough time to do like power grinding like this. Then goes into like the customization stuff. It's just like, whew, that stuff is wild. But speaking of something that's wild and something that I would never do. Now grinding, I did. I will grind an RPG if need be. I still have fun with it. You know, I can put on a podcast. I'll put on some movie. But what this person did, the commitment to this is insane. And it's something. This is a video. It was so hard to find. I had seen it years ago. And this video is like hidden by YouTube. Look at this. The title of the video.
Guys under 6 feet tall. Friends.
These ads are killing me, I swear. Title of the video, Final Fantasy X Blitzball. 8,500 plus hours of hard work. 8,500 hours of Blitzball. The description. Ever since I bought the game 8 years ago, I've been working hard to be the best Blitzball player in the world. Yep, look at that. Look at the record. Level 10,000. Number of wins. Look at that. 50,000 wins of Blitzball. The commitment to this is insane. I have nothing but respect because I can barely play an hour of Blitzball, and this guy put in decades worth of time. Hold on, I need to do some math real quick. How many days? Hours. That's an entire year pretty much of days. You have to play Final Fantasy X every day nonstop for an entire year to get to that. Man. And the fact he said since he got the game, ever since he bought the game 8 years ago, just like, whoo, that is commitment if I've ever seen it. Like, that is wild. It's like, man. All right, next up is another one. This title is very funny. Okay. FFX NSG, NS, NC, NO, NE, NNE, NBB, BFA defeated. Now, that abbreviates for Final Fantasy X, no Spear Grid, no Summon, no Customize, no Overdrive, no Encounter, no Encounter, no Blitzball. Braska's Final A undefeated. So this is that ultimate no Spear Grid challenge you can do. It's the hardest one you could possibly do. There's another hard one that, like, I don't know why people do it. It's like no items as well. It's like you really just want, like, to have no fun. Like, that's so hard. I shouldn't say that because, it is fun. It just seems like that challenge is like hair pulling. Like you're really taking everything away that you would need. But yeah, this is from 2014. This is the first, I believe, documented case of somebody actually beating this challenge. Because I believe for some time, it was pretty much you could get to this fight, but you could not finish it. So yeah, someone actually did it. And it's pretty wild. Like, even when I did this for my No Spear Grid run, I was struggling hard. It took me like 3-4 attempts. And this is a hard one to do because if you fail this fight, you have to go through probably 8 minutes of collecting the little items in the area. Then you have to watch 5 minutes of cutscenes. It's about 18 minutes of prep before you even get to this fight. And you could die instantly within like turn 2, and you have to watch it all over again. And since then, this challenge has been beaten a few more times. I believe the one where it's like you beat it without items, you can't beat that one. Like, getting to him is pretty much the end of the challenge because it's impossible. I believe once he gets his second form, it's over. But yeah, it's just wild. People in this game, like, their challenges, like, they can really push this game to the limit. And yeah, it's really good. Like, that No Spear Grid challenge, I kind of want to do it again. Like, it was really fun. On the topic of the No Spear Grid challenge, I do want to show one thing right now, and this actually is related to my No Spear Grid run. I finished the playthrough a few weeks ago. It was good. It took me 6 months. And it's a lot of footage in there for somebody to watch. It's about 26 hours. But there is one thing that is coming soon that'll hopefully alleviate that. And that is this. All right, and with that, the Impractical playthrough, the highlight version. So, somewhere into the past, I did one for my Ocarina of Time randomizer run, where I condensed the entire run into just what are the summation of the best parts, the important bits. You could watch it in that form and not miss anything important there. I'm going to be doing the same thing with this game, that run. It's going to take a while. Like I said, coming soon because that's 26 hours of footage to come through and add everything. And like the Ocarina of Time, there's going to obviously be counters of any time I say a certain thing. There's going to be edits, jokes, everything else. But yeah, it is coming. For those of you who wanted to watch that No Spear Grid run, but are like, I'm not sitting here to watch you for 26 hours. Don't worry, I got you covered. You do not have to worry. You don't have to sit on your like little couch and watch. You can just get through it in like a brisk hour and a half, maybe. But yeah. Anyway, let's get back. This next one is a weird one. So this is Final Fantasy X NTSC prototype. So it's the debug mode for an earlier build of the game. And there's a certain thing in it that is very strange. I don't really have an explanation for this one. But it's something the developers put in there for, I guess, to test up camera and how things would work. And there's not really much to say on it. I'm gonna let it just play as is. And I do miss that original PS2 version of the screen. Like the HD one is nice because, you know, it had that little thing in the background moving. Like that's what the background is. Right here is like the moving background from the HD version. But there's a part of me that misses when it had that stupid Final Fantasy X like official website, and it had the play online thing. Like I kind of missed that a little bit, but I don't know. All right, so it's when he gets to the events here. This event is very strange. It's very, very strange. That's why I was, okay, yes. The man, the myth, the legend, the worst goalie in the entire game. The guy who will single-handedly ruin your blitzball game. Keepa. And this is exactly how it is in the debug. Like, this is not edited. Like, the music being all fast and this, it's like a shit post. What is this? Hmm? It's like an anime ending now. So what's Cindy doing there? Okay. And there we go. That's the event. There's like 100 different emotions that I go through every time I watch that. Like, it starts off kind of normal, but then like Keepa gets big, and then when Overworld starts playing all fast, it cracks me up. I don't know why. It's so pretty funny. So real quick, I'm gonna move over to a different screen, because on the topic of the prototype and all that, there's a certain thing I need to show off because it is so cursed that it has to be seen to be believed. Okay, let me just get this up here. All right, let's switch over. Oop, nope, wrong thing. Let me get the cam back up. Sorry about that. Here we go. Let's get this going. Okay. So this is Cutting Room Floor, amazing website. And I want to scroll down to the events because there's a certain event that's in there, and they have a placement text. And you see it in a lot of games, like when they're testing out how the text's going to be and everything else, like of how the text system works and inserting like the dialogue and lines. They're going to sometimes use just random examples of things they find. But the one they used here is very concerning and awful. All right, here it is. The United States has warned Afghanistan to surrender the militant Saudi exile whom Washington believes is behind the attacks that left nearly 6,000 people dead and missing. Look at the name of this. FFX Bin Laden. And why'd they have Titus say it? This is in the game. They just probably pulled a random headline from the time as testing. But it's like, is that really the headline to put in the game? And to have the main character? Like this page has always really confused me. And the fact that this is in that version of the game. Like it is really wild that Bin Laden is referenced in Final Fantasy X in a data. Like, wow. Wow. That's some weird stuff. All right. So from there, moving on. We're actually we're getting through it. I'm not gonna lie, we're getting through it. Next up, Final Fantasy X press kit unboxing and review. So I guess this is just a video.
What time is sunset
ad?
today?
But I guess it's a video just talking about what was in the press kit they were sending out to places, like places like GameSpot, IGN, all press junket places. This is what I found last night when I was just looking through for Final Fantasy X videos. It was a good 3 hours of me looking through these videos for the playlist. All right. Dr. Retro's game reviews.
Hey everyone, I'm Dr. Retro, and this pretty boy you see here in front of me is Titus, the main character from Final Fantasy X on the PlayStation 2 or Final Fantasy X. The item you see is the Final Fantasy X press kit, which only got released in Europe, and what's inside, you'll see. So, front of the box shows Titus, the main character. Sides of the box show the logo and the name of the game. And then the back of the box tells some information about Final Fantasy X.
Oh, well, that looks pretty cool.
A whole lot of different languages. As I said, it's a European press kit, so they make it multilingual, so they only have to make out one and send it out everywhere. So let's show you the English part. The magical world of Spyra is under threat of sin. This is actually the only Final Fantasy game I finished from beginning to end. I played a lot of Final Fantasy games, but never really got to finishing them. And this one I did finish. I really love the game, even though you either love it or you hate it because of the characters, but I loved it. So, the contents. First, you see the Final Fantasy X game, and it's a demo only, so it's not the full game. Let's get it out of there.
Ooh, I wonder.
As you can see here, demo only, not for resale. Inside, you see the press information from June 2002, and the disc says promo. So, if it's a full game or not, I'm not sure. Beyond Final Fantasy, this is a DVD you got with the original Final Fantasy X retail version as well. It's just some behind-the-scenes information.
Okay, that's probably where that
documentary
earlier was from.
So, that's the media information. Then, behind this plastic thingy, we find a Final Fantasy X Titus figurine.
Oh, I
and
want that.
I'm not into figurines, but I'm not sure if
Sir,
this
give it to
got
me.
released in stores, so retail as well, or if this just exclusive to this press kit. You see, it's Titus.
Oh,
He
I got like
has
a
water blade.
like a
and
migraine
the figure
headache
looks quite
out of
nice
nowhere.
and detailed, even though he has
But I
ridiculous
must
clothing,
soldier
but
on.
that's common with the Final Fantasy games. And the back of the box doesn't really tell you about other characters. It just shows some other characters from the series, but not sure if these got released as well or if this is just a one of a kind. If you're into this kind of stuff, tell me, is this a unique toy that only got released for this press kit, or was this
No, it was
available in
released. I
retail as
saw
well?
it once in a store with the
that
other
was the Final
ones.
Fantasy X press kit.
And
It
I
wasn't
didn't
really
get it. I
big,
should
it
have
doesn't have a lot of
said,
stuff.
hey,
It does come with a
get
really
it because
cool
they're going to be
figurine, really
rare.
cool box, and as I said, it's my favorite Final Fantasy game, so I'm really happy to have this. If you want to see more videos, check out the channel.
Actually, that's a pretty cool little press kit. I wonder if I could find that demo kit. Like, that kind of would be pretty cool to have in a collection. Honestly, the box, even if it doesn't have the figure, the box alone is sick. I'd love to put that on my shelf. Maybe one day I'll find it. Ooh, this one. I forgot to put this in there. It was getting late. I just gave up.
I was in a coffee shop running away from home when I heard the news. Our hero, Jet, gone, vanished into thin air. My dad must have been his biggest fan. I knew how sad he'd be. Heck, we all were that day. Zanar, I said to myself, what are you thinking? I went running straight back home. We sat up talking about Jet all night. My dad and I never talked so much. Whoa. Didn't mean to reminisce, folks. Anyway, 10 years later, the Jet Memorial Cup tournament is...
Yeah, I still know this game a little too well. When I get to the end of this, I get a little confused because, you know what? I'm already gone. I'm already into the next section where he's like, make way, coming through, sorry. Hey, I'm gonna be late. Hey, let go of me. Yeah, don't get me on a trend. I'll keep going. I can sit here, like I said it in the playthrough too. I can sit here and recite the first 2 hours of this game, pretty spot on. You don't want me to do that. All right. Which ones do we have? All right, we have. This is another kind of cool little Easter egg one. This is one, not really an Easter egg. It's another one of like the cutting room floor things. So this is Final Fantasy X Titus with the Buster Sword.
The key to a perfect
ad
delivery
plays.
and free
But no,
pickup from Ralph's.
at some point in the game's development, I guess the Buster Sword from Final Fantasy VII was going to be a weapon. But it was taken out. Which is unfortunate because it would have been really sick to have. That would have been a dope ultimate weapon or some other weapon you just get in the game. But it unfortunately didn't make it. It thankfully, however, was still in the memory of the game. So, that is one good thing I can say. It looks cool, even though like he's holding it the wrong way. Obviously, probably because it wasn't finished, but it's still cool to see nonetheless. It's like, if I get it back in the game, if there's the PC mod, I'll do it. I'll get it back in. All right. We're actually, I'll say we're going pretty good. We're actually getting close to the end of this. Because there are a few in the videos I think I'm probably going to just skip just for time purposes. But let's get through. So this next segment of the playlist, I call this the cutscene alley. Just, these are some standout cutscenes from the game. And some cutscenes that, you know, you don't really see too much because you need to be in very specific situations or just at the right place and time. But to start off, of course, we got to start off with like the best cutscene. Listen, hands down, this cutscene is still raw. Cutscene is still really good. Still undefeated. That's such a good cutscene. Man, Square knocked it out of the park when it came to like the cinematics in this game. They did an incredible job. These cinematics are they are so good. And coming up next is one of the other best scenes in the game. It is the rawest cutscene in this game, hands down. Auron's entrance in Luca is still nasty. I fucking love that so much. That little smirk he makes is like, yeah, whatever. It's so dope. Oh, this is the PS3 version. I can tell with that slow load time. And then just the one hit. It's the nail in the coffin. Just that whole intro set up like, oh, this dude's about to be crazy. And then he takes it out in one hit. Sir Auron. So, you do know him.
So, you do know him?
Yeah, best guardian there ever was.
Yeah, best guardian there ever was.
And into the fight that is pretty easy. I just want to play the game again. It's like I just beat it. You know what? What's another 6 months to play the game again? And here's I guess hidden Farplane cutscene.
Why are you in Guadosalam? What
I'm just using a good bits. You know, it'd be interesting to check it out.
Start something?
If it would please you to harm a defenseless old man.
What's
then
trouble?
boil me in
Why do
battle
you know?
smoke.
Huh?
Lord Seymour
Lord
is gone.
Seymour.
No lord rises to take his place. The Guado merely wait for sin to come and finish us off.
Yeah, I remember this scene.
Why should I care what you do to me? Oh. If it meant rejoining Lord Jiskel and Lord Seymour.
Lord Jiskel. I love this guy's voice.
My head would be the greatest kindness.
All tongue all in the back of your throat.
Come to kill the old man. I welcome it.
Welcome it. Man, I missed the PS2 version of this game. The visuals, like it just like the way the faces were, like they were so much better. Even the menu UI, I prefer the UI from the PS2 version. If there's a mod on Steam to get the original UI back, that's the first one I'm downloading. I'm really considering actually buying it on there, which will be like my one, two. It'll be like my 4th copy of the game, but like the mods will definitely extend it out for way longer.
Benevolent Lord Jiskel and most wise Lord Seymour, the days spent in your service were the best in this old man's life. Those of us left behind will soon be destroyed by sin and join you in the far plane. I will serve you there as I have served you in this world always.
I don't think I've seen that scene.
Should sin disappear, the Guado
How do you get the... I seen that first scene with him. I guess I legit have just never come here at this point.
I'm still not the person I wanted to become. Not yet. I'll come back to let you know how things went. I hope I'll bring back good news.
All right, let's ride.
Dang, that's like a pretty good single scene. All right, so this is the ride scene where you ride on the bikes with them. I think they show all of them. The Lulu one is like don't even show because like that's the one everybody gets. But there's some of these that you very rarely will see. Where's it at? Like the Riku one, I got that one for the first time pretty recently. That one is pretty good. But the other ones, like getting Auron and Kimahri, that one's like tough. You pretty much just have to not have them in your party, like anyone else but them, to get it.
fun to ride with at all.
What?
I'll take Kamari over you any day.
Huh. Just don't do anything rash.
What's that mean?
I'm saying you should not complicate matters, or you'll find yourself trapped. Understand?
I don't need you to tell me that. I guess there's some sense in what you're saying.
Make mistakes.
Huh?
That's what youth is for, after all. Do not waste it.
So which is it?
It's not bad. Better than Kamari does.
Say, what do you think about Riku being in Al Bhed?
Ronso are followers of Yevon. Ronso dislike Al Bhed.
Oh, I get it.
Not Kimari. Al Bhed are Al Bhed. Riku is Riku. Riku swore to protect Yuna. And Riku is not a liar. Kimari can tell. So, she is a friend.
You know, you might want to tell her that later. I think she needs to know that we still want her with us.
Kimari is surprised.
Why?
Kimari think you are kind.
Don't tell anyone, okay?
And that was really good. And it's such a hard scene to even find. In all the years I've played the game, I've never gotten that Kamari one. I've gotten the Riku one, I've gotten the Lulu one 1,000,000 times, but like that Kamari one is like really tough. All right. Now, this one I had in there, but I think I'm actually going to move it. I think there's actually like copyrighted music, so I'm not, for the purpose of this, I am not going to play it. But for those of you who want to see it, in the description of the video will be a playlist. The playlist that you're seeing right here, if you want to go back to a single video in here or watch some of the ones that I didn't see, you will have that chance. So, you know what? It's finally time to talk about this audio. I've been ranting and raving about this since the beginning of the run I did, the No Spear Grid run. This bonus audio is whack. It is so whack what they did. I know it was a thing of, oh, you know, if we ever do Final Fantasy X3, here's the hypothetical thing for it. It's like, you know what? It would have been better off had you guys not done it. Because it just butchers everything. It butchers the ending of X and X2. Final Fantasy X will. It's just, oh my. Like I do like, you know, that they got all the actors back. Some of them sound definitely a little like unseasoned.
It's been 2 years since Spirit
James still has the
entered
voice
Eternal
down,
Calm.
obviously. Hetty Burris
I was
still
given
has
a
it
new life.
down.
For a year,
I forgot the
I was able
actress
to
for
walk
Lulu. She
alongside
still has
you.
it down. John DiMaggio's definitely sound a little rough as Waka.
It really was.
But outside of that, it's just they shouldn't have done it. I'll stay here because they're playing 2 Xanarkin. I'd be a fool to skip that. I was in a coffee shop running away from home when
Kurgum and I were walking down Bevel's Stadium Road, formerly known as Micah Road. The stadium that was supposed to be completed by now is still bearing its skeleton. Will the tournament really take place here? How will the council take responsibility if it doesn't? Well, doesn't really matter to me. It has no bearing on my life. The real issue for me is the crowd up ahead, and the star shining in the middle of it.
Hey, Chuami, not that way. We gotta hurry.
Waiting on you, so we might as well just be late. Anyway, look. Isn't that Titus?
Huh? Oh, wow, it is him.
Let's go take a closer look.
Okay.
What, are you nervous?
It's fan fiction. I wouldn't be surprised if Kurgum is a self-insert from someone. Although I will say that this was written by the original producer and like director of the
Alongside
game.
High Summoner Yuna, he had literally saved Spira from
It's just like
annihilation.
so weird.
By the by, I too was feeling a little nervous. My reason being that he knew my father.
Yeah, and you can already tell right there who these two were supposed to be. And it's just like, wait, what?
We always root for you. Go get him.
Oh, it's
Hey,
so awesome
thanks.
to meet you.
Cheer for me, okay?
Can I get your autograph? Oh, okay.
No,
You
no,
guys
not
my number
that.
right in that last match.
Thank you. Oh, that's so
Thank
great.
you. Thank
Can I
you.
get an autograph too?
Shake my hand, man.
I've been your fan since forever.
Titus, we're rooting for you!
Yep.
Yep. It wasn't just his words that were hollow. When I shook his hand, his grip felt weak and lifeless.
Man, they're making
Okay, well,
him
I
so
gotta get
whack.
going.
It's like,
I'll
yeah, he
see
shook
y'all at the
hands. It's all
stadium.
lamp. It's like, damn, you make it. It's 2 beats in. And you're making him,
That
like,
is what you call a star.
making him whack.
That I won't deny, but
What is it?
I think he's injured. Or maybe he's sick or something. Hey, Kurgum, which team is favored to win it all?
Probably the Besaid Aurochs.
And after them?
The Albed Psyches, maybe?
Okay, let's find a betting parlor.
Psyches. It's the
We might
Albed
make a
Sykes.
Chuami.
They've
is
never been to
that really,
Psyches.
you know,
Allow me to make formal introductions. This is my childhood friend, Kurgum. If all was right in the world, he'd be a summoner. But things as they are, he currently serves as a council-authorized sender, who ushers souls to the far plane. My name is Chuami, and I serve as Kurgum's assistant. But in reality, he serves me. Now don't misunderstand. This isn't about love or some such, and it never will be. The future may be uncertain, but that I know for sure. This is not some kind of ironic lead-in. Repeat, not a lead-in.
come on, let's go.
All right. We had been assigned to fly to Besaid Island on behalf of Spira Council Chancellor Barrelai. Just a minor errand, really.
Is that Besaid Island?
No, dummy, that's Kilika.
We are approaching Besaid. Prepare for landing.
Did you just laugh?
Of course not. Chuami, I can't breathe.
Prepare for landing, weapon yuck.
Our objective is to meet the one and only High Summoner Yuna. She currently serves as an advisor to the Yevoners.
Yevoners.
Now, Yevoners, you know the story with them. Stuffy, anachronistic fossils. They're the guard dogs of the old ways and so-called morality. The recent commotion caused by hardline Yevoners has been quelled. But it's nauseating to think that organizations like that still exist
Talk
in
about the
Spira.
stuff that was set up in X2.
I really don't like
It's
these
like
Yevoners.
the new Yevon
But
and the
I'd
old.
be lying if I said I wasn't
I guess
interested
that
in
just
meeting
didn't
the
matter
heroine who
anymore.
defeated Sin 3 years ago and freed Spira from a 1,000-year curse. She also must have known my father well.
Alright, can't go wrong with Besaid using the original version. That one's really good.
So, what business does the council have here?
My apologies, Mayor Lulu. But my instructions are to speak to Lady Yuna in person.
Oh, yeah? Well, then I guess we should let you see her. Not. Lots of people come here saying the same thing, yeah?
We're here to spare Yuna any unnecessary headaches. Now state your business.
But...
Well, I guess you got a job to do, too. Let's do this. I'll take you to Yuna, but I sit in on the meeting, too. We'll all share the pain, eh?
What pain is there for you, I thought. But I said nothing because the big-breasted mayor and the oafish caretaker were also legendary
Put respect
guardians.
on Lulu's name.
They knew my father too, so it wouldn't have been wise to start trouble right away.
How much more is there? Oh man. Yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna get to the rest of it. I'm just gonna say what I had to say on it. This whole bonus audio drama is really bad because it really invalidates everything. It invalidates the ending of X and X2 and ruins it. Honestly, I'm just like, no, this doesn't exist. This is not canon, because it's like, all right, the relationship that Yuna and Titus had throughout the entirety of X is done in, where it's like, oh yeah, we're not together, we split, like, and all these other things. Chiwami is like Oren's daughter, and it's like, wait, when did Oren get ass? It's like, I have a lot of questions. Then they kind of imply at the end that Sin is coming back, which is like, wait, so Sin's coming back, so like nothing they did in X and the events of that game had any purpose whatsoever. It's like I thought defeating Sin from like the inside, getting rid of Yu Yevon that was running all the strings, would get it, but I guess not. And just the characterization feels so off. Like they butchered everything in this. It was not good. I remember the first time playing through it, like listening to it, I was just like, am I hearing it right? I'm just like, they really just, like, what are you doing? And it's general consensus by a lot of people. There's a lot of people who really do not like this. A lot of fans of this game are just like, yeah, this audio stinks. It doesn't exist for me. Like when I go to the menu of the game, I'm like, all right, cool. X2, cool. There's two options. Although the little bonus movie that came with X, I think it was in the international version. That one's pretty nice. As that post addendum, but this, not so much. If you haven't listened to it all the way, you know, you can go do it. It's not the best, I'll say, but oh well, for those of you out there. And now we just have one more video left, and this is the final one for the playlist. All right, that's it. That's all it is. I'm just keep it looping. Watch. The video's so nice, I had to see it twice. My reaction when I heard the bonus audio. When Albeds walk around the corner. All right, that's enough of that scene right there. That's enough. That's enough of that. That's enough of that. Well, that's gonna honestly be it for me here on the stream. This was a really cool one. You know, I probably could have gone a bit more in depth on some things. There's a lot of things I didn't show. There's another 30-minute like documentary where they talked to some developers. That was released around the time of the X HD collection. There's a few other ones I cut out of there too, but I got the important ones. Honestly, for me, the making ofs in the beginning were good. The commercials I really wanted to show, and some of that stuff like that, like the really old kind of footage that some people really haven't seen, that I haven't seen too. And it's like a kind of cool look back. Yeah, 20 years ago, this game. You know what? Still a fantastic game. I still love it. I still think it stands the test of time. And I know of recent, this game is finally kind of coming around. People are more like accepting it, really kind of liking it and digging into it. Especially a lot of new people. I've been seeing a lot of videos where people are playing through the game for the first time and they're really taking to the game well, and like the ending, they're getting like really emotional with it. So it's definitely a thing that people are really, it's got a new audience, or people who really weren't around when the game first came out, and kind of coming back to it now with the HD remasters and everything. A new audience is picking it up, which, you know, it's great. I always love it when a game kind of gets its resurgence and maybe didn't get the flowers at the time, and then kind of comes back full circle, where now it's kind of beloved. Even though at the time X was generally well liked, it got a lot of great scores. Like holding this out, my Game Informer issue 105, the Final Fantasy X issue. There's developer interviews in this too. It talks about the game going into it, and if I remember off the top of my head, they gave it like, it got a high score. It got like a 9. Yeah. It's like development interviews talking about the game and all this and that. Oh, I forgot. Actually, it's actually a pretty good issue of it. I just want to get to the score real quick. Capcom version SNK 2. Medal of Honor Assault. Spider-Man the movie game. That's a good game. Don't worry, this is going to be a stream one day. When I can get my scanning stuff set up, we're going to be doing a stream of nothing but Game Informer magazines. I have hundreds of issues. Alright, here's the Final Fantasy issue right here. It's hard to see, I haven't zoomed in. But it got a 9.7. A 9.75, high score. But kind of getting back, like, yeah, at the time, it was well loved. It kind of over time kind of had that shift where people were like, oh, the game sucks, and now it's kind of going back up again. We're like, you know, it was a good game. Wind Waker was kind of in that position for a long time. I feel like I was defending Wind Waker for ages, and people were just like, you don't know what you're talking about. Wind Waker's a bad game. And now it's come around where it's this beloved classic that everybody loves, despite nobody loving it at the time it came out. Like, listen, I remember your faces. I remember what you were saying. I remember you, James, in Recess. You said that game sucked. You don't know what you're talking about now. That was a good game. But yeah, that's gonna do it for this stream. I hope you enjoyed it. You know, it was a lot of fun kind of having this look back, and it kind of has this close to the Final Fantasy stuff for the year. No, it's still a good game. If you've never played it out there and you watch this whole stream, you know what? Go play it. It's on sale right now everywhere. I think it's on sale on Steam, on Xbox, it's on every platform. It's really good. And, you know, it's a game that's going to still stand the test of time. You know, with just the story, the characters, the gameplay, and of course, the music. The music in this game is incredible. But, yeah, I'm gonna end it off there. I'm gonna go rest my voice. I'm gonna go rest my head. I started getting a headache at the end. It was probably just knowing how to do that bonus audio stuff. But yeah, that's gonna be it for me here. Thank you for watching. Whether you're watching this live or whether you're watching it from the archive recording. As always, I'm John GWC, and I will see you later. Peace.